Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by my friend, my dude, my fucking companion, Ben Janessine. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Tom. As you know, Sunday, went out, played 18 with the boys, came back, took a nap, and then we had a long day of Call of Duty. Great series. Every series today was an absolute banger, Tom.
Yeah, just a great day of COD again, right? I just feel like the last few days of COD has just been unreal. Guys, the competition that we're seeing in Call of Duty these days is some of the best competition you'll ever see. I promise you that. I've been watching COD for many, many years. I've obviously played COD. I've never seen competition like this. It's getting to that point now where it's just like you don't know what's going to happen on any given day. I feel like anybody can beat anybody. For the most part, I think the top teams are the top teams and the bottom teams are the bottom teams. But, you know, at the top, anybody can beat anybody. And at the bottom, anybody can beat anybody. So it's just really cool to see. And it just makes things really excited. Ben told me to turn him up. Ben, I could definitely turn it up. You could have just said something. My bad. If Ben was low, I just turned him up. So he should be loud. It should be good to go. But just a lot of good matches. Ben, I actually got a glass of wine tonight.
Yeah, what are you drinking? What kind of wine?
I don't know. My girlfriend handed it to me as the show started. Guys, shout out to my girlfriend.
We see the CDL intel tweet, guys. We'll talk about it at the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end of the show. Shout out to my girlfriend for the steak and for the wine. But let's just get this show on the road, all right? Ben, you went golfing today?
Yeah, I went golfing this morning.
How'd that go?
A friend of mine, Sweet, also went with us. Sweet is actually not bad at golf.
Sweet?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually decent.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
He just bought a set of clubs. We played a nice little course on the southeast part of town. I didn't play too well. I was hitting a lot of fairways, just
not today.
It wasn't a. Wake up. I had a couple 3-putts. It wasn't my day, but you know, you live and you learn.
Yeah, no, 100%. Sometimes, Ben, you don't have the best of days, but you learn from it, right? It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. But let's get right into the show, man. We kick things off with Optic Chicago going up against Toronto Ultra. I actually have Parasite that's going to be joining us, guys. So shout out to Parasite. How you doing, Chris?
What up, Chris?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
I was here a little late.
All good, brother.
You're good, bro. We just started the show. We were waiting for you a little bit. We started out a little bit. Everybody was getting on my nerves. They started putting the chat. Start the show. No, don't feel bad.
You were late.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're completely fine, brother. You're completely fine. We're about to get into it right now. Before we before we start the show, I want to let you guys know what's going on next week. I actually have I have a guest coming on. We're gonna do a flank this week, and it will be with Rambo Ray. It will be just me, Ben, and Rambo, and he will be telling us why the hook change happened with Dallas Empire. He's gonna break it all down for us. He's gonna give us the in and outs behind the scenes, and we thought it would be a really good piece for you guys, and just a really good content piece. So shout out to Rambo for taking time out of his day to come on the show and talk with us and just give us the in and outs of what's going on with Hook. Now, I want to make sure that if Rambo's going to come on and say his side of everything, that I do reach out to Hook and make sure that he's able to say his side of things. So I will definitely reach out to Hook and see if he's going to want to come on or say anything. If Rambo doesn't want to come on when Hook is on, that's fine. We could do 2 separate episodes, or we could just wait till Rambo leaves and get Hook on. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think it'll be a very good show for you guys, and I'm really excited for it. So I just wanted to drop that bomb before the show starts.
That's a Walank in the chat, Tom.
That's a Walank. That's a Wambo. That's everything, man. You know, we're trying to bring the best content. My dog just fucking just hit the door open. He's walked into the bathroom. I guess he's got to take a leak. I've never seen that before. This guy's opening doors now. Shout out to Crowder in the chat. I see the head coach of Atlanta FaZe. Congratulations to you, Chris. It was a great series, man, and you guys definitely deserve to win. And you guys look insane. And huge shout out to Arcees too, because I'm a big fan. That guy was going absolutely off. We'll obviously talk about it when we get to the grand finals. But let's kick things off, all right? Let's get it going. We start things off with Optic Chicago versus Toronto Ultra. And Ben, I'll let you take it from here. We see the vetoes. Break it down.
I mean, it was a pretty straightforward veto process. I think at this point now with a lot of these teams, these vetoes tend to be pretty clear cut. Optic's not comfortable on Garrison controls, so that's why we see raid control here. The hardpoint bans are pretty standard for both teams. SMDs, Optic has been playing Miami. Toronto banning checkmate against Optic makes sense, and sort of that's how you end up with this set of maps. And we'll just get into the first one, Tom.
Yeah, let's get into the first map. We kick things off with a Garrison hardpoint. And right off the rip, I think, wait, I gotta mute the sound. I think right off the rip, now a lot of people had Toronto. I personally had Optic winning this series. And again, it went all the way down to the wire. The first thing I said after I gave my prediction was this is going to be close regardless. I feel like both rosters, just looking at the rosters on paper, you never know what the fuck is going to happen. And I think going into a Champs Sunday, you have players who are really passionate about the game and really want it. And both teams have showed crazy improvements. So I just knew it was going to be a great match. And that's exactly what we got. But this first match, I mean, Optic, it was very back and forth in the beginning. But the Optic started finding their rhythm and their flow through the middle of this map. And they took this one away, Ben.
Yeah, I think first rotation was pretty close with both of these teams. Toronto ended up with a lead here because they put Optic sort of in a trap on the P5. And then Optic really pulled away, and we'll watch the second rotation. Just as we've seen with Optic throughout this major, they do a really good job on the P3s, the P4s, and the P5s. When they get that top green control, they get that top cat control, and they set up the spawn traps. That's where they've excelled this map. And this is Toronto's, I believe, Toronto's like weakest hardpoint map. And Optic got off to a flying start. I don't know, Chris, if you kind of agreed with my thought process, sort of how this map broke down, or if you were able to watch this live.
I unfortunately was not able to watch this live because I was playing in challenges.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
stuff
say
like that,
you were in challenges today, weren't you?
Yeah. I was pretty much playing the majority of the day, so a lot of stuff you guys are breaking down, I'm kind of just watching along, to be honest.
Yeah, it's okay. You could give your input as you go along. We could take the first couple series, but we have a Astro Gaming listening with Optic Chicago. Let's see how they sound.
Yo, you can actually
one sat too, one sat.
You can actually tell me from here.
Stop,
yo, top green, top green.
Top green, top green.
Yo, look like that. Okay, green,
That's
I'm going left. Go ahead. I have limit.
Artie, you clean next week, you.
Yo, Cammy right. He's going to rails.
Make me go new.
Trash absolute.
Go to
Vance is due.
Cammy dead.
One's new already, you said?
Yeah, one new. I'm here, Seth.
Okay, yo, what's top green? Top green.
I don't see him in time.
Yo, once we get
top green insight.
Yo, one's back. One's like.
I have the back. Open. Yo, he's 55.
Get time.
I'm playing off on bricks.
I'm watching small.
Yo,
Cammy deep alley, one shot.
I'm playing off on bricks.
I'm holding top
I
green.
know listening's still going on, but if it wasn't for Dashy
One jump up
or
green, one jump
Scum
up green,
playing so
watch
well,
that, just hold
they
small.
would have got obliterated.
In the back.
Looking at the stats.
Frantic chance, but it's all sounding good.
All right, so the initially off the start, right, of that listening, a lot of energy, little frantic, but at the most time, I feel like it's controlled. I mean, these guys have been doing this for a really long time. So to them, it's probably not frantic. I mean, just hearing that energy on a Champ Sunday just gets these guys going. I mean, you can see it in Scump's gameplay. I do want to give a huge shout out to Scump, just because this guy's been doing this for so long. And from somebody like myself who's you know, played in the league and stuff like that, just seeing him still do it and the longevity that he's had in the league, and just seeing him continuously fry and just drop numbers like this, I got nothing but respect for this guy. And there's a reason why he's called the King of COD. There's a reason why people hype this guy up, and just to see the things that he's doing still. And I don't know how many years he's been doing this, but I just want to give a huge shout out to him, because he went massive this first map, and he played really well today. He played really well the whole weekend, so just want to give him a huge shout out. And then we also see Sender in the chat. Coach Sender, the guys looked a lot better this weekend, and I could tell you guys have been working really hard on perfecting your craft. So shout out to Coach Sender over at Optic. So I appreciate you guys, man. But Ben, your thoughts on the listening?
I think the listening was pretty good. Even, you know, it's oftentimes Dashy can sometimes be a little bit quiet in the listenings, and he was really participating, calling people out, doing a little bit of traffic control. I just think overall was a big learning lesson for Chicago this weekend. I think they've kind of gotten back to the spot they need to. I think, though, the work doesn't end here. I'm sure that they want to win chips, and to win chips, they're going to need to do what teams like Toronto and New York and FaZe are doing, which is innovating. So we have Troy in the chat. I'm sure they're going to be working hard going into Stage 4, going into the LAN. I think we're going to see a Chicago team that's definitely going to be a little bit more, a little bit better, especially in S&D. I know they've been good throughout the stage, but they faltered at times in clutch situations at this event. And I think continuing to work on Respawn, expanding their map pool.
Yeah, the one thing. Oh, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say the one thing that caught my eye with Optic, especially in this first map and throughout the weekend, because we had a lot of criticism, especially myself with Optic, about the way they've been playing. But their teamwork just looks a lot better. I mean, they're working off each other a lot more. You can tell they're setting up a lot more setups, a lot more crossfires. They're working with each other more on breaks. And when you put a team like this together with this much talent, as long as they're working together and playing the game the right way and staying disciplined, it's gonna work out for them. And that's exactly why Toronto, had a hard time with Optic today. But at the end of the day, Toronto did what they had to do, which is another great team, and we got to give credit to them. But we're talking about this Garrison Hardpoint first, and Optic were able to close this one out. But Parasite, what were you gonna say?
This weekend was big for Optic, man, because like they were struggling in the group stages, obviously, and then for them to come out and manage to place, better than probably some people expected in terms of the way they were performing in group play was probably a big confidence booster for them to know that they're not done as a team. I mean, that's just the way I saw it, with their group stage performance. But they came here and gave Toronto a really good fight.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. They look great.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely they've how do I phrase it the best? I think from the Optic side, continuing to be competitive against top teams is a little bit of an area where they've been struggling, especially in S&D. I think ultimately they finished this series. I think they're I want to say 2-7 or 1-7 in terms of S&Ds against FaZe, Toronto, and New York. That's one area they need to improve. Their record in S&D against the other teams is actually excellent. So just more consistency against top teams, and they gave Toronto a fight and they went to the last round. Was very happy to see that the Optic guys are back in form, and it's gonna be very interesting to see. They're gonna be a problem for whatever group they get into. I'm sure FaZe got a tough decision to figure out if they're gonna put Toronto or they're gonna put Optic or Toronto in the other group with New York. We'll be curious how that spreads out.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because now FaZe, right? They're gonna obviously pick so it'd be FaZe New York, right? FaZe picks a team and then New York picks a team.
Yeah, and then it goes from there.
Right. If I had a guess, I'm pretty sure FaZe is gonna toss Toronto in the other group, but I really don't know, because these Toronto guys are not to be fucked with. These guys are another great team. I see a lot of people in the chat telling me to reach out to Sender. I actually did. That's what I was just doing the last couple minutes. I reached out to Troy. I sent him a DM, but he is a little bit busy right now. So again, just shout out to Sender, man. But then we go into a Moscow S&D. And this is where things get a little bit mixy. One thing that I see Toronto doing on S&D a lot, especially on Moscow, is they're always trying to break ankles. They're always trying to keep teams on their toes. They're always trying to keep the defensive side guessing. Again, you see a lot of good angles from Optic. They definitely working with each other a little bit more in S&D. This was a really big round for them. It started off being tied up at 1, but I think this offensive round was a really big round for Optic. They came out, they worked a couple trades on the A-bomb site. They got all the kills. They did what they had to do. They definitely seemed like they were a little bit more in rhythm, but Toronto did a good job bouncing back, Ben.
Yeah, we're going to skip ahead, guys. That's for listening audio. We're going to skip to the 6th round, just in the essence of time here.
Great first blood by Formal right there.
That's a good shot.
That was a really nice shot. Yeah, the jump up like that and just completely beam him, it was really good. I saw a lot of people talking about the drama between Kenny and Formal. What did Kenny say? Can anybody tell me? I don't know if Ben or Parasite, what did Kenny say about Formal? Why is there so much drama with Kenny and Formal? I'm confused.
I have no idea. I was just as confused as you guys were.
I think it was in the pregame. I think Kenny kind of gave his thoughts on the Optic team and sort of where they were at. And I think he might have said that Formal was probably the least or the worst player, least impactful worst player on the team at that moment.
Really? He said that?
I believe that was a piece of what he said. Now, I haven't watched the full clip, and I'm sure there's more context to
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the context here? Because people like to pull shit out of context. I don't know. I gotta go back and watch it myself, honestly. But
but I think that's kind of where that started. But ultimately, I liked what I saw from Formal. I think he does need to work on making more of an impact, as we're watching this 7th round, and unfortunately, Optic stacks in that deep corner again on
Come on, Ben, you gotta bring up the stack again. You gotta do that.
I mean, this is a problem corner for them, Tom. It is what it is.
You.
All right, keep playing in the narrative.
I'm just fucking around. I said the same thing when I was doing the watch party. I said, Maron, they're doing the fucking stack again.
But I think from to Kenny's point, I think from the Formal side, he played good this weekend. But we know that there's another gear in his game. We've seen it throughout the years. I think he can get there. If he can get there, it'll make their some of their play, especially against top teams, a little bit more consistent. So everybody's always got things to work on at all times. I think Formal played fine, but he can kind of get to that next level.
You see here in the S&D, they always have Dashy playing on an island on that B-bomb site. Always. And it's something that they haven't changed up. And I'm surprised that teams aren't taking advantage of it. Like if they're watching back film and constantly seeing Dashy just playing by himself over by that site. But I like how Optic's playing it. They're just spreading the map on their defenses and just trying to get information. But again, look at Toronto.
And look at the mid A that they do.
And they
all the time,
always do this. I mean, they just go middle. They'll take the bomb and they'll just bring it mid map and they'll just bounce back and forth. And it's almost like they don't know what to do, but they do know what they're doing. Like it's very controlled. They're just trying to get information. They're trying to scout the other team and just kind of see where they are and just trying to play some mind games with them. And that's exactly what they did. They played some mind games. They went back and forth. You see the Optic setup starting to scatter a little bit. They start going back and forth. They don't know where they're going. They don't know. They're trying to get more information as well. And I think that's what Toronto does a really good job of doing. So I definitely wanted to give a shout out there. And they end up winning this this round and going up 5-3. And that's a pretty good bump for to go up in S&D to close it out. You just got to close out one of the next 3 rounds and you pretty much just take the map. So just a good heads up play at Toronto. And I love the way they play their situational plays in S&D. It's just really fun to watch. And you can tell that the chemistry is there and that the comms are there. And I think that's why they're so hard to beat in that game mode. Personally,
yeah, I think this has been one of their best maps, like all the way going back to stage 1. It's like one of the their constant reliable maps with Raid. I think is the other.
Agreed. I think on the Optic side too. As we kind of watched this last round, this is one of a couple of rounds, and we watched the 7th round as well, where Optic got first blood, just weren't able to convert in that round. They had 6 first bloods in these 9 rounds, and
who did? Optic?
Only won 3 of them. Yeah.
Wow. That's actually a good stat because usually first bloods win you the round for the most part.
Yep.
Because if you win the first blood, guys, a good pro team, right? They get the first blood, they back out, and then they use their numbers to work some trades and trade out some people and just get the round win. So that's a pretty interesting stat that they're not closing on their first bloods. So that's something that Optic should definitely go back and look back on and see kind of what went wrong after getting that first blood. And just probably it's probably just
Big one from Insight.
Yeah, it's probably just solo challenge and just getting caught. Sometimes
bad timing.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit different because you can get a first blood and get traded right away. So yeah, the stat goes down as a first blood, but it gets traded out right away. So sometimes those stats can get a little bit tricky. But for the most part, Toronto do what they do, and they close out this Moscow S&D. And I love watching these guys play that map. But then we go on to the next one. We go on to a Raid Control. And this is another map where, you know, the offensive side, we talk about winning offenses on Control can be very difficult at times. But Raid, to me, is one of those maps where I personally think both sides are pretty even. But Optic, they come out and they try and get this B point right off the rip. They get very, very close. And Toronto end up clutching up. But this is another good map out of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to watch this first round as Optic wins his offense. And then we'll talk, I think round 2 is probably the biggest talking point here. And ultimately, you know, I think Optic had a couple of missed opportunities in this series. And I think this was the biggest one. They had a really good start to this map. And they just made some kind of questionable decisions in some of the middle rounds. And unfortunately, a couple of Toronto guys were able to just go on a run and get streaks. And when you get streaks on Raid, you can set yourself up for success a lot. And it kind of snowballed from there.
I mean, the main thing for me was just Cammy in that final round. I mean, just the streak that he was able to go on. Just pretty much just shut all of Optic down. And then, like you said, getting those streaks to work with. I mean, if you can get streaks, especially on Raid Control, you can really use them to your advantage. And that's exactly what they did. So, huge shout out to Cammy for clutching up. I think when a lot of teams are trying to get this B point on Raid, guys, it's really difficult to just flood through the front and get kills. It is super situational. Optic do a good job just working through kitchen, working through front, getting the kills and stacking on this point. But it does get really mixy.
Yeah, this is the round where Formal went big here. I think he gets 3 to close out the round here, if I remember this correctly.
And it was interesting. It was interesting to see Optic just flood through the front and get kills and make it work because it is situational. There's a lot of different ways to get kills and try and stack onto that point. But I think Optic just found a gap. Toronto, they were definitely set up a little bit for kitchen and for the back. But I think that's where Optic took advantage of their numbers and just hit through the front. Were able to trade out some kills and get on that point and win the first round. They went up 1-0, but then Toronto bounced back, Ben.
Yeah, so Tom, I think we should talk about the situation here. So, like, what happens at the tail end of this second round here is Optic has got a really good position for in bed side of A by pool. They had to push out, and you're spawning Toronto on the deep side in their back spawn. Optic get a bunch of kills, and then they kind of readdress their setup. And they end up giving up bed control and pushing through and like pinching the guys in art. And like can understand the thought process there, but the cause and effect there as we kind of watch sort of the play develop here with number 8. Ultimately what ends up happening is they're spawning the Toronto guys close on bedside and giving them free control of bed and being able to basically just walk out on the B site most of the way and then just take gunfights. And as we watch this round, you'll see that it's going to snowball from there. And Toronto's going to be able to get some action.
We see that a lot. I see Dashy doing it a lot, where he'll push up bedroom and he'll just push all the way up towards garage, right to that top right spot of the map on that mini map, and he just spawns Toronto deep. But Scump right there, he ends up doing it right. He pushes it out and he gives Toronto that deep spawn. I think Scump should just stay there and just stay alive and just try and pin them. He ends up going for a little bit of a pinch. He ends up picking up a kill, almost pops a 2-piece. Now, if he gets the kills, it's probably not as bad, but he ends up getting traded out. And then, like you said, Ben, Toronto get those close spawns. They end up flooding through bedroom. They end up getting some kills and getting on that point. It just opens up the map for them. So I think the main thing is just for Scump to just kind of stay by that garage and just kind of just keep them spawning in the back.
I actually don't necessarily mind that because they had 2 players mansion at one point, correct? And one of them jumped down with water steps. So if that guy mansion stays, right, and he just pre-aims the AC, he blocks that spawn, right? And then when Scump pushes in the garage or flanks Art, what he'd start to do is he would start to spawn them either gym or he would spawn them on the ramp, like by A.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of the fact that when he pushes through, whoever was supposed to block mansion didn't block it and instead went water stairs, which opened up the mansion spawn in general.
Yeah, and
but
Scump said
I didn't really mind what Scump did. It was more so somebody has to fill that mansion and block that spawn every single time. Yeah. Otherwise, that's going to happen every time.
We see them do it a lot. I mean, Optic tries to set it up. I've seen it time and time again, and usually it's Dashy, but it was Scump right there. But Scump's in the chat right now, and he even said he should have just told Dashy to go to bed. If he's going to do that pinch, he's right. He could do the pinch, just calm it, right, and just have somebody fill in the gaps. Because that's what it's all about, right? It's like a little train. You just fill in the gaps, you block the spawns, you keep them spawning deep. A little bit of a mishap, but I personally didn't mind the play, but maybe there's just a miscommunication. But I don't know. But we do see Dashy doing it a lot. It was just something that caught my eye. You see a lot of pro teams, they're just really good at manipulating spawns now. And we saw it a lot in the New York FaZe Grand Final, especially on Checkmate Control, which we'll get to. But other than that, we go into an overtime, right? It gets tied up at 2. And also shout out to Scump in the chat. I see a lot of people dropping wumps and stuff. Shout out to Seth. Good job this weekend, Seth. You were doing your fucking thing, man. And it's always a pleasure to watch you play. And it's good. It's cool to see the improvements that you guys are making as a squad, man. But this overtime was kind of tough, to be honest. I don't know if you've seen this, Parasite, but as Ben walks away, I don't know where the fuck this guy's going. I think he got some food or something. I think he ordered some food. He's hungry. Cammy had a field day. It was one of those things where he was just catching timings and he was catching people off guard. He found himself a little bit of a rhythm. He finds himself some streaks, and at that point, he just does a good job just using those streaks and playing off of that and just closing out the round. But other than that, there's not really much more I could say. But watching Cammy play, Parasite, what do you think makes this guy so good? Because I feel like this guy's on another level right now.
Yeah, he's probably one of the more unique ARs that we have. Like, I was talking to Donnie. We were just like sitting in a call watching matches, just talking about different types of ARs. And he's one of those ARs that doesn't really fit the mold of like an AR player. Like I think he ran a sub at some point during.
He's like a flex kinda. He's like a flex.
He's like an actually aggressive AR player. Like he's disgusting. Like he doesn't just like camp and stuff like that. And I think that's what separates him. Like he's literally just raw talented. Doesn't matter what gun he uses. He's always playing very aggressive, and that's why he's so good. Seriously.
Yeah, and even here you see Toronto, right? They get that stack on the point, and Cammy just kind of looks over him. If they can just stay on the point, stack it, and just stay down and force people to jump out of money and just OE out of basketball, I mean, at that point, like, Optic's chalked. They're just running into preems. They're running into crossfires. Toronto do a good job staying disciplined and just getting the job done. So shout out to Toronto, man. I don't know where the fuck Ben went. He's the one who controls this fucking thing, and now he's gone. So I'm gonna control it, and I'm gonna move it forward. But then we go into another map. We go into a Checkmate, Hardpoint, and Optic. Chris, I don't know. I know you're in Challengers, and we can obviously talk about that a little bit at the end of the show. But Optic come out strong as fuck here. They go up by 100 points. They're all over the map. They're winning all the gunfights. Chris, just tell me a little bit about this map and kind of why teams are able to go up 100-0 and chain hills and why it's so easy on this map.
Well, just like basically most hard points on this map, P1 and P2 usually are like shared spawns every single time especially on like checkmate, raid. It's pretty much every single map. P1 and P2, the good spawn for it always chains, and if you're able to chain those two, you're starting off like you're up like at least like 80 points. That's pretty much what happened with Optic. They got the majority of P1 time, staggered Toronto, got P2 time, and now they're just up. Wait, they were up 90.
100-0. It was literally 100 to nothing.
100-0.
Yeah, and
it
they
was a
also
very
do a
good
good
break.
job.
Very
they
good
also
break.
do a good job. Like we've seen teams come out to big leads on this map, right? P2, P3. But then they get stuck in the P3, P4, P5. They get flipped on P1, and suddenly that 100-point lead is now down to 0. They do a good job of taking advantage of this lead, not getting out of control, staying ahead of the game, and doing a good job forcing Game 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Optic on checkmate. Like, granted, Optics had their struggles, you know, throughout the stage and the group stages and stuff like that. This is still Optic on checkmate, and they
had bad
like
side, Ben.
one of the best teams in this map and mode. So
Optic had bad side. They were able to flip it right off the rip.
They were able to flip it, you know, even better because P1's the P1 is better from the bad side because you can obviously get into the cabin and contest a lot easier. And then the fact that they were able to get the majority of that time and flip, like you're just going up by so much at that point.
Yeah, I think the main thing too is when you let a team like Optic just get such a big lead like that, right? They go up 100-0. For the most part, as long as they stay disciplined throughout the map and just make sure they're hitting their rotations and doing what they need to do, they're gonna win the map. Right,
Yeah.
like they give themselves such a good lead that all they need to do is make sure they're playing the game the right way, and as long as they don't just get put in an absolute blender, they should be good to go.
They're a momentum-based team, realistically. When Formal and Dashy, even Scump, like recently, he's been playing like really crazy. When they get hot, bro, they're hard to stop.
Oh yeah, they're really hard to
super
stop. They're a
talented,
great
so.
team on paper for sure.
Yeah.
But let's go into this Astro game listening with Toronto Ultra. I think their comms are really good. I think they had a lot of problems in the past with their comms, but they definitely turned up a notch on the comms, and Marky B, the head coach at Toronto, also said the same thing. So let's tune in and see how they sound.
One's their side. He's close midpoint, Toby. Tube form. Listen, Scum is top planer on the right. Careful.
One shot time. No trophy. Like in the corner.
Yeah, Scum's right wing. Scum top lane. Top lane. Scum. Top lane. Listen, get top lane. Scum's top lane in cabin. Scum is top lane in cabin.
Low left.
I don't see Scum. Look at left wing. Scum dead. Split plane.
You hold Dashy and Formal, I think.
He's pushed out right. No, bro, he's got me in the right. We're gonna spawn out. One's gone right. Yeah, no, he's not hit yet.
One shot comes.
Let's get this. We need to spot.
Comes now, dead.
Nice. Pushed out the right.
Backstairs. Nice.
We can feel the frustration in his voice when he's calming.
Trying to get top lane, bro.
Full 60 here.
You can hear it rather.
I got trophy. Back left, top lane,
Yeah, I'm holding out left. I don't see anything front.
Look at exit.
Yep. One more left on me, absolute left. Two. I'm watching left. They got a trophy close. They've got a trophy close. One's close right. Top right, Dashy. I'm absolute. I can't help yet.
So I got flash again.
I can help you.
Ben, you might wrap left if you want.
I got double nade.
I don't have a trophy for you, sorry. Top lane, and on the right wing.
Top lane again. I hit
Grenade again.
Front right.
I'll hold Jimmy on time. I need to push Jimmy.
One shot front Formal.
Vector as well. Nice. Top right, Dashy. He's jumping, he's
Dashy.
Emergency, premium you.
Slow and steady comeback now from Ultra.
Yeah, I mean, great. Wait, actually, let me mute this quick. Great comms from Toronto. A little bit more frantic than usual. They're usually a little bit more, yeah, and it's expected because they're down by so much. They do a good job bringing it back a little bit, but like I said in the beginning, if Optic just stay ahead of their rotations with the lead that they have, they should be able to close out the map, and that's exactly what they did. I mean, there's not really much more for me to say unless Ben or Chris, anything catches your eye. But for the most part, great map out of Optic to send this to a map number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think the plane work from Optic throughout this map was key, both bottom plane, top lane. We've talked about how critical it is, coming off the mid lane, and Scump and Envoy just did a good job winning a lot of those fights with subs and then setting up their teammates to hold down the longer lanes on the map.
Yeah, the way they've been working off each other too has been a lot better this weekend. They've been playing off each other really, really well. And you saw Envoy today too, especially in this last map S&D that we're about to watch, just finding a lot of gaps, making a lot of plays, and that's exactly what you want to see from Envoy. I love seeing him do stuff like that, just kind of changing the game and hitting those flanks and hitting those routes. They're working really well off one another. And I think the chemistry is starting to really, really hit form with these guys. And as long as they just stay at it and just keep getting better, again, these guys, right, top 4 team right now. I think these guys have still more work to do, as well as every other team in the league. But they're definitely dangerous. But let's head over to the 5th and final map, Ben. We go into a raid S&D, I think it was.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, but a raid S&D. And another one that was just so back and forth, so many crucial rounds, a lot of big individual plays. And again, Toronto, they're able to close it out. What is it about this Toronto team that their S&D is so good? I'll start with you, Ben.
Like just in general or specific to this map?
Just in general. Both, honestly, both. Just in general and with this map. I mean, we could talk about Moscow all day with them, but
I think in general, like, they have really good coordination, their team pushes, and they know exactly the setups they want to hold, how to work off each other when they get in mixy situations. And specific to this map, I think their B holds are really, really good. Now, I wanted to watch this round because there's an example, one of the rare examples where we've seen Toronto's B holds have a little bit of a mistake. You're going to watch here on this raid S&D that Toronto's going to get their bomb down. They're going to set up in laundry, and number 7 Envoy is going to basically be able to sneak up for free, but all these guys in circle and shoot inside in the back, and then from there it's just a trade side on the optic, and they go ahead and they win the first round.
It goes back to what I was saying about Envoy, about the playmaking ability that he has and the way that he reads the game. I like that he doesn't hesitate and he's not scared to make a play. That's like the main thing for me.
We used to make jokes on London when I was on their team for stage 1, and Shane was a big fan of Envoy. He says this guy has the best awareness in the game, because like it just always seemed like he was the one getting through every time, making the play, making the sneaky play, and finding the timings.
Yeah, but in this first round, it's just a good retake by Optic. Instead of just flooding through one way, you have Envoy coming in around the pinch. You end up collapsing on Toronto from all angles, and they just get collapsed on, and they're chalked, right? So Optic, they go up 1-0. Then we go into a next offense. Ben, we'll kick it off with you. First of all, Ben, what are you eating over there? Because you were chomping.
I mean, some nice little chicken nuggets, to be honest, Tom.
Oh, chicken nuggets? I thought you were going to hit me with some gourmet fucking meal. And you hit me with chicken nuggets? From where? McDonald's?
Yeah. I'm not gonna front. It's McDonald's chicken nuggets.
All right, clear your throat. Get a glass of water. Maybe drink a little glass of water or something. But yeah, Optic, right? We're gonna talk about that final round. I know a lot of people in the chat want to talk about the round where Optic lost and the guy walked up through laundry. We're definitely gonna talk about that. But this round, right? You have Dashy and Scump in a 2v2 with Cammy and Insight. I actually really like the off angle that Dashy's playing right here. You kind of could just, like, it's a really deep corner that if they're coming through mid, they just don't check it. And he's able to just get 1. He jumps the corner. He gets 2. So it's just a big play out of Dashy. This was looking really good for Optic off the rip. They go up 2-0. I'm thinking that they had the momentum, but they start to crash, Ben.
Yeah, agreed. And they'll start to trade rounds here. I'm going to go ahead and skip over to the 5th round, which is a nice 1v1, and then we'll go from there. Look, this is one of Toronto's better maps, and Optic took them to the brink. And ultimately, as we'll watch this through, there were some small mistakes, I think, on the Optic side that ended up being kind of the difference here.
Let it play out. You see Toronto here. They end up getting the bomb down. We see so many teams do this at the B-bomb site. They push through ring. They push through laundry. They try and get that laundry control. They try and work those crossfires. And they basically just try and plant the bomb for the opponent's side of the map, right? You get control laundry. Now you're setting up these crossfires. You're trying to make plays. But again, who is it? It's fucking Envoy, this fucking guy. Now, this is the problem. Optic ended up losing this round, and I don't know what happened here, because Envoy's coming up behind him. He gets 2, right? But then Insight somehow gets 2 before Envoy gets the trade, and that's the problem. They have to stay down. They got to make sure that they're staying alive, because Envoy's coming in. He's going to get the 2-piece. Just throw some shimmies and let Envoy make the play. They end up both full challenging and getting 2-piece by Insight, and it ends up hurting them. Parasite, I'm curious to see if you agree with me here.
I feel like they should have known he was there. Like he threw a trophy down from up there. I'm pretty sure Dashy might have saw it, but it could have been tricky with the fact that he got 2. They might not have expected a 3rd guy to be there, and they just got some unfortunate timing. I mean, when you're having that much luck on your team with Envoy getting through so many times, you're bound to get unlucky a few times. It just sucks that it cost them the round.
100%. It definitely cost them. Like, that round needs to go in favor of Optic. They would have went up 4-1. It would have changed the whole outcome of the map. I personally think they would have won the map if they won that round. But Envoy, he makes a play. He's probably telling them to stay alive. He picks up 2. They end up full challenging. Insight picks up a big 2-piece. Envoy gets the trade, but at that point, it's a 1v1 situation. They didn't wait for Envoy to make the play, and it ends up falling apart. So they end up losing that round, which I think ended up costing them. But again, you see Optic, right, on the offensive side doing the same thing. A lot of the pro teams doing the same thing. But somebody ends up getting caught here. But Ben, I see you paused it. Is there something you want to say?
Yeah, this is unfortunately for Formal 1 of 2 rounds where they had
Ben, hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Ben, get a drink of water. You good? Clear your throat a little bit. Go get a bottle of water. Chris, am I fucking drunk or is this guy...
His voice sounds a little raspy.
He sounds like he's...
I'll take a drink here.
Yeah, take a drink. Maybe a little gargle. Maybe you should hit a little bit of a fucking gargle or something.
Yeah, not on stream, though. Don't do the gargle.
We good?
Yeah, you sound... Now you sound like an angel.
Chill.
Phenomenal.
Okay. So this is 1 of 2 rounds where Formal end up getting kind of blooded in a man situation for them. I think just this one was more unfortunate timing. I think it was a little bit of a miscommunication, but as we watch this round play out, it's really critical that he dies here because ultimately they were transitioning off of B. They don't have B control now. They get back in it. Dashy goes to plant bomb. He can't get the bomb down because he gets naded, and suddenly now Scump's in a 1v2. Just Formal getting blooded kind of broke their whole setup, and then they didn't really take a team chow, and ultimately just kind of gave Toronto a round they probably shouldn't have won.
There was a couple rounds.
That was a good play there, by the way.
I personally think Optic should have won this map, and it was tough to see. But Toronto, they do a good job capitalizing on little mistakes like that. That's what a great team does. When a team at the highest level like this, little tiny mistakes like that, they're gonna take full advantage of it. And again, I just feel like these rounds look like Parasite. Am I fucking faded here, or do these rounds all look the same? They push out Laundry.
Yeah,
they plan for Laundry. You got some people working pinches and late flanks and shit like that. Toronto end up going up 5-4.
Cammy, holy crap.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cammy, guys, is 14-5. Kleenex is 1-8. Bance is 4-7. Insight's 9-5. So Insight's pulling his weight, but Cammy 14-5. Just unbelievable plays. And then on the other side, you have Envoy sitting at 11-6. He was making plays on those routes all game. He's so fun to watch. Yeah. Just watching him hit those routes, hit those flanks. You know I'm a fan of the fucking flank. Come on. Zuma flank. We all have heard of that. So I just love watching the kid fucking play. But then we go into this 5-4 round, right? We go into the 10th round of the game. Optic, they change things up. Instead of hitting through ring, they decide to spread the map a little bit. They start working through bedroom. They start trying to get some eyes. And things got a little bit mixy here. They end up pushing around 11. But I love the way Scump just YOLOs the fucking bomb plant. He jumps on it. They have teammates looking over him. They end up pulling out the street. Scump goes down, but he did his job. He gets to the bomb. He gets the bomb. So he gets the bomb down. Now all his teammates need to do is just sit bedroom, hold some corners, make sure they're getting bomb checks. And that's exactly what they do. Formal, he ends up peeking a window. He gets a kill. This was a huge kill in the back by Dashy. Kleenex was about to make a play here, but Dashy ends up shutting him down. And I think that kill right there just kind of opened it up, and Formal didn't have to worry about his back anymore. So just a great round from Optic, and good unselfishness from Scump to just jump on that bomb site and get it down. But then we go into a round 11, and this is where the controversy begins, Ben.
This is the word I got to watch. I actually got to watch the round 11.
This is where things get a little bit mixy. And this is something that I really want to watch back right now because I feel like I need to watch it back and just see what the heck happened. I saw Karma.
Chris, feel free to drive this because I know you guys probably have some thoughts on how this went down.
I see Karma tweeting about it a little bit. Just how is it possible that somebody can just walk through back laundry like that and just break the setup? So we're definitely going to break it down and just kind of see how it all played out. But off the rip, you see Optic again, right? It's 5-5. They have a minute and a half on the clock to work with. So they end up slow playing it. They spread the map. They get people over towards bedroom. They have somebody holding Zig. But ultimately, like Ben says, we go back to the B-bomb site. Seems to be the more favorable site. They end up getting this bomb site down. They work through ring. They end up getting back laundry control. And this is where I'm a little bit confused. Scump jumps top laundry. They realize nobody's there. He gets the bomb down, right? Now you have two guys in laundry. They end up trying to streak first. I forgot about this. So Cammy, he uses his streak. Scump, he baits the streak out. He gets off the bomb, right? So good plays. They bait out the streak. Cammy completely wasted. Straight 4-on-4 retake now. Scump, he gets the bomb down. You got two guys in laundry. But Optic, instead of holding crossfires and holding laundry, they play corners. And they kind of turtle a little bit. They turtle.
Hold on.
They allow Toronto to walk up on laundry.
I'm going to move this back. I'm not really sure if I'm going to move it too far back.
Go ahead. No, you could touch it. Go ahead. You could touch it.
Okay.
Do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna pause it. I know this is pro league and stuff like that, right? But this is actually a play that I made in Challengers, And I think it's a really good play. And so you saw Optic doing this the round prior. But what they did was they had a guy Art, and he was spotting the ring cross. They had a guy Zig holding the push tier, and they had 2 people playing a pick at Mansion, right? So what that does is if you get a pick B, it allows you to obviously go B, right? And you can rotate the bomb there. But if you don't get a pick B and that player holds that ring cross, it makes it so you can basically get ring for free because you know nobody's in ring. If anything, he might be laundry or back laundry, etc. This round, they end up going ring. And what I have wanted to see them do is, Toronto has a streak, so they're probably going to play safe, right? They're going to play off that streak.
Well, they baited out the streak. They did a good job baiting it out.
They did a great job there, but just in hindsight, I'm not even kidding. If they do this, I'm fairly sure they probably win this round. If they would have planted in the open for B, like water steps, they probably win the round. I'm not even kidding. But because, Toronto's going to play safe. So if you peek P5 and see nothing, you probably have the freeze bomb plan of your life. But anyways, regardless, they go. I'm gonna let this play. They go and they plant this, and then this is where the confusion happens. So they call in the streak. Now they have no reason to even worry about hiding from a streak at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm actually mind blown that this even happens, but there's 2 of them in laundry, and they're not looking at anything. They know that they have the flank by number 7. He obviously was watching Zig earlier. They go to plant the bomb, and now nobody's watching it.
This is what I'm confused about, and I see Scump in the chat saying they streaked. I understand that, Seth.
Yeah, but after that,
Seth, you were pushed up, holding the angle, right? You got off the bomb, they streaked, you dodged the streak. Great play out of you to just bait out the streak. You're holding the cross from Rock and those steps, right in the back. And you have your teammates in laundry shouldering the back door when it's there's nobody there. You're already pushed up. You're already watching the cross. Nobody's there. They should be pushing out with you right off that streak, holding those crossfires, making sure nobody's able to run up on you guys. And then you end up getting the bomb down. But at that point, you guys are turtled in laundry. And I just feel like you guys get singled out. And that's just where the setup kind of just fell apart. So I understand that there were streaks and that's probably why initially they were in laundry. But I think they did a great job baiting out the streak. They just need to work a little bit better off of that. Regardless, it's a lot easier to say in hindsight watching it back, because in the heat of the moment, especially at 5-5 round 11, right, a major, it's a lot harder than people think, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate timing too. So Seth had the cross to back laundry, and as soon as he goes to give it up, nobody went to pick it up, and that's exactly when they hit it. So by the time they peak, they're just dead. So they just got some really unfortunate timing on that.
It was weird for me, Chris, to see Scump holding the angle to the back push. If they were to push through Rock, push through jungle, push up those stairs, and nobody was there with them. And his teammates were in laundry just throwing shimmies. As soon as the streaks hit the floor, as soon as the missiles hit the floor, jump out that bitch. Jump out. Scump's already pushed up. Jump out. Hold some crossfires. Hold some angles. And then as soon as Scump gets the bomb down, he can come back and help. And it should be a wrap for the most part. As long as they don't lose the fights, as long as they hold their corners and hold their angles, they should be good to go.
The only thing that could have gone wrong there, though, Tom, is since you had that player all the way out in Zig, right? He's playing the island. You still need somebody to watch pillars, because if you're watching the rest of this map,
I agree.
Toronto had a lot of rounds where they kept hitting pillars right here. While people were planning, while people were crossing and making plays off it. So regardless, you would have had number 6 looking at it, and number 5 should have been the one watching back laundry. However, they just got bad timing. The guy that was watching the back didn't see anything. And they get freebies.
But the main problem for me is not about pushing it out or anything or watching pillars. They did a great job. Even when Scump got the bomb down, he was looking at his pillars. They were obviously throwing. They just need to throw a little bit more shoulders, get some information, try and figure out where the hell they are. Because instead they played, in my opinion, it looked like they played a little bit scared. They looked like they kind of played corners. They were kind of hesitant. They didn't want to get picked. They were trying to get Scump that bomb down. They got the bomb down. If they throw some shoulders, maybe get some information, try and figure out where they're coming from. Off that information, they might be able to work some trades, work some crossfires. And then you had somebody Zig, I think it was Envoy, who can make a play, right?
Yeah. So they just probably had miscommunication. It's 5-5.
It gets tricky with the streak. The problem is it gets tricky with, if that streak wasn't a thing, they probably just like Scump, right? He gets the bomb down, backs up. They probably hold the crossfires and probably win. I think the streak might have threw him off a little bit. I don't know, but 100%. At the end of the day, I think they watched that back. And they're definitely, they're definitely feeling that one. It was a heartbreaking loss because it went all the way to around 11, and to lose like that, absolutely sucks. Maybe they thought they had a cruise missile, Chris. Maybe they thought there was another streak.
You could ask them if I think Seth's in the chat. You can always ask him.
Because that's the only thing in my head. I was like, I wonder if they thought that he had a cruise missile, and I see people in the chat talking about it. I don't know. I really don't know, which is why I said, guys, it's a lot easier in hindsight to go back and watch this and be like, I wonder why they did this, or I wonder why they did that. But at the end of the day, these guys are professional players, and we don't know what happened in the comms or what they thought was happening. It's a lot harder to try and read plays in the middle of a map like that. So, we knew he didn't. Okay, so they didn't know he had it. Regardless, at the end of the day, Toronto clutch up. Shout out to Optic for an amazing weekend. I think they looked incredible this weekend. I think Toronto looked incredible, as well as FaZe in New York. Just amazing matches today. But Toronto, they end up clutching up. They move on to the next round, and they try and use that momentum to take down a red-hot Atlanta FaZe. But that doesn't work out for them today, does it, Ben?
Yeah. So you want to talk? I'll talk about the vetoes a little bit. So this is a little bit different since the first time the teams played in the major. A little bit different hard points this time around. Red S&D ended up being the second map. Moscow S&D last map. Overall, I thought the veto approach was fine. We didn't see a checkmate because it just kind of got alternated in the bans. Obviously, Toronto don't want to screw up with FaZe on that map. FaZe really don't want to play checkmate on the hard point. And the control, obviously, we ended up seeing it in the series with New York. Toronto's had Moscow as their auto veto, I feel like, pretty much for weeks now. And the rest of their vetoes were pretty straightforward.
Yep. Again, just like every series in Parasite, I don't know if you were able to watch this match. I don't know exactly when you stopped playing challengers. But the one thing with this series, again, it's just the competition. Again, it just went all the way down to the wire. Went all the way down to a game 5. But FaZe, they came out and they took care of business in this first map. I mean, when I saw them coming out on this first map, I was like, okay, FaZe look a little bit different today. They were moving at a different pace. I mean, it's just the eye test, Chris. You know the eye test. Parasite, you've been playing COD for so many years, man. You know what I mean when you know what I mean when I say the eye test, or am I just faded for that?
No, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you can just tell by somebody's swagger around the map that they're feeling nice,
and it's just the whole team. Like, I just feel like no matter who you're fucking spectating, it's like, fuck, bro. Like, these guys are looking good. And I said it during the watch party. I was like, damn, FaZe look good today. And I said that 2 minutes in to this first map. And they ended up doing a really good job. You know, at the beginning of this map, it was a Garrison hardpoint building themselves a little bit of a lead. Toronto do a good job keeping themselves in it. But FaZe, again, a problem that they had last year was maybe staying disciplined and playing the game the right way. It seems like it's not the case this year. It seems like this year they're all on the same page. They all know what they have to do. And I think a lot of that might come down to Arcitys. But we do have an Astral Gaming listening from Atlanta FaZe. Let's go on board with them and see how they sound.
Top green.
23 seconds. Keep playing this green, alright? We'll play you. West side of kills.
Hey, switch out.
Vantage bricks. I'm one shot. I'll team green.
I'll be honest, guys, alright?
I have bold.
Keep looking for kills. I don't see anything behind me. They're hitting tools. He's hitting tools, guys.
I'm looking
my right.
He's P1. One shot bricks. One P1.
He got me cow. Got me cow.
That's absolutely right. All dead.
Good job. We're still spawning out. We're still all spawning out. Someone get hold straight. Top green, stay square.
You get green.
Point that.
They're gonna push in lights, probably.
I don't want the green on me.
Lights, I'll premium lights.
The one
I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm in lights with you. Yeah, square. Next time we square, man. Make sure we're calling all the units.
I do a bit.
Green, nice done. Green, done. Green on me.
He's arch, guys. I'm getting shoved down. Oh, there's already 3 shovels. I'm getting lights.
Inside green. Outer Queen X. One shot Queen X.
Look over here. Look over
here. Bricks.
I found vent. Try to get green.
I saw that.
Getting it.
Square. Right dead.
Nice.
I'm point dead.
Let's get tank. I'm trying to get in time.
I'm trying to.
Inside one shot. Good try.
We're missing clean X, right?
No. I killed him. They're all
there's one green. Yeah, green.
Your clean comms chance.
So after that
small talk
listening,
from
hold on, let me mute it. You're good.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize it's the first time I watched this. Like, Celium was on Streakster and didn't get it, and then he goes to top green here for a minute, like with Simp, and he goes on a little bit of a streak here, Tom. And ultimately, I think this set of hills here, the P2s and P3s, are where FaZe kind of pulled away and won this by quite a bit.
Yep, they look really good. Their listening sounded really good. Again, you see Arcitys trying to keep them level-headed, trying to make sure they're doing the right things on the map, and I think that's just what he brings to this team. And then on top of that, I mean, he's just been absolutely frying. We actually have the head coach of Atlanta FaZe, Crowder. He's going to be joining us today, but I also have another guest for you guys. You guys already know who it is.
User was moved to your channel.
Hello. Crowder. Crowder's in it. Crowder. Crowder. Welcome to the Flank. Zinni, welcome to the show. How you guys doing? First of all, I want to kick things off. Crowder, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was doing a watch party. I was cursing you guys out the whole time. I was saying, fuck FaZe, fuck these guys. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day...
Absolutely. I expect nothing less out of you, Tom.
At the end of the day, you know, it's all love. You guys looked insane today. The first thing I said 2 minutes into the Garrison Hardpoint was, wow, FaZe is coming out to play today. I said it during the watch party, and just watching it back now, these guys are on form. And, you know, now that you're in here... how has practices been going for you guys? You know, coming into the tournament, obviously you guys felt confident, but anything that you guys worked on or felt like you changed coming into this one, or just kind of played your game and just did your thing?
I mean, definitely played our game and did our thing, but dude, every day in practice, like I know you guys know, like on the New York side of things, and every team that like practices, it's like it's just constantly working at something that like you have to get better at, and then once you kind of figure that out, something else goes wrong, right? And then you have to figure that out and stuff. So it's like, I feel like a big thing for us is just like team challenges and like trying to become more of a team still. I know we talked about that already, like in the earlier thing, but it's not something that happens overnight, over one stage, over two stages. It's going to take the full year of just constantly becoming a better team. So that's just what we were working on for the most part in respawns. And then S&D, I mean, a huge shout out to our S&D coach that we hired. He's
Tupac, the GOAT.
Yeah, he's a godsend. Basically, when we hired him, I'm going to change my name from Jimmy Irons to Crowder for your stream. Sorry.
Yeah, those of you who don't know who Jimmy Irons is, so that's a whole other story.
Anyway, but when we hired him, dude, like I talked to management and stuff about getting him on the team, and I just said as soon as we hired him, like he is the expert and I'm not. You know what I mean? Like obviously I know a lot about Call of Duty, but he is the expert and I'm giving him like the head. So every time we scrimmed, I backed off. You know, I said, like, this is your team. This is your team for search and destroy. And this is your, like, you know, you form stuff with them. I'll put my input in, but he's criminally underrated in the sense of what he's done for our team so far. So that was basically all on him for the S&D thing.
No, 100%. I think Tupac, you know, he's one of those guys who's been playing S&D for so many years. And he has a lot of knowledge about that game mode. And I think if you guys were struggling in that game mode, he's the perfect guy to bring in and just kind of see what the problems are and kind of what's going on. And then maybe even give them some tips, because I think a lot of people don't understand, when you're a professional player, you don't really have a lot of time to grind S&D because you're grinding the other game modes, right? That's why S&D stars, you know, they can help out a lot, because if they're playing the game mode every single day, all day, you know, there's spots or tips and tricks or things that they like to do. You can learn a lot from people like that. So I think bringing Tupac into this FaZe squad really helped them in their S&D game mode, and I think that was like the main thing for you guys. I mean, you guys know with your talent how dominant you're going to be in the respawns. If you guys can get your S&D on point, you guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I'm actually mind blown he was available for so long, by the way, because he was looking to do it for a while.
We also got Zinni here.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to your team, Chris, Crowder, because what I really like about them is, well, you guys have been working on like a lot of different maps and modes, but that didn't mean that you guys faltered in all the other stuff you were good at. Because a lot of teams, when they start to work on one thing, the things that they used to be good at, they start to struggle at, or they're not as good at. You guys, however, you guys start working on different maps and different modes, but you guys are still dominant at the same maps you guys were dominant since the get-go, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that comes down to, dude, it's just like a practice routine, dude, of like really taking scrims like as serious as you possibly can, even like on bad days, you know? Yeah, every team gets on and you have a day where you're just kind of getting smoked, and it's like you have to really make those days the days where you don't just like chalk it up and like really try and figure out like why you're getting smoked, and then working it out on, you know, every single like person having like different sets of eyes. Like RJ does a lot with like, you know, when going wrong in a game mode and I can't really get it going and I can't figure it out. It's like, you know, I kind of ask RJ like what the hell's going on, and he kind of gives his input and stuff like that. So that's a huge, I think that's huge for our team with like the coaching staff, of having so many eyes being able to help out when like things go wrong in other game modes and stuff.
Yeah, you guys just have a good culture over there, to be honest. I feel like you guys just all get along. You also have Easy Mac over there, right? You got Austin, kind of helping you guys out on the analytical side.
All the guys are really, really important. I know I get a lot of credit, but they don't get enough, in my opinion.
You got a lot of tools.
Yeah, you don't do shit.
Yeah, nothing at all. I make my assistant do everything, of course. Yeah.
Then you got Zinni, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome Zinni to the show. Zinni, how you doing today?
I've been better. You know, I got reverse swept by GodderX in the losers finals of the Challengers Elite, so I've definitely been better. You know, didn't really get a chance to watch much COD because, like I said, I was getting reverse swept by GodderX in the losers finals of the Challengers tournament, and Easter won again, and that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you, Zinni, for your time, and I'm sorry to hear that you got reverse swept by GotterX in the losers finals. But let's get back to the match, right? We go FaZe. They come out, they win the first map. They send it to a raid S&D, and again, we see the same thing in Parasite. Look at what we're seeing, right? A B plant for laundry. We see the same setup, same thing. I feel like it's just an ongoing thing. People do it a lot. I really like how Simp is trying to play an off flank. It ends up not working for them. But kind of what happened this round, it looked like Toronto just did a good job retaking. I thought Cellium was clutching this, personally. Once he wins his first gunfight versus Insight, I thought bro, honestly, it looked like he won this fight. But did he give up on it? Did he stop shooting?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah,
it looked like he stopped shooting.
I think he like shot the trophy and thought he got... I don't know. That looked weird with the trophy being there. I think that trophy messed him up.
But when I was watching this back, when I was watching it back, I said, oh my, like I thought he clutched it, and then he did, and he died, and I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Like, I thought he had it, and then Cellium on these fucking trucks.
Yeah, if you ever seen Cellium jumping up and down on the truck, dude, it's tough. Yeah.
I'm like, dude,
he's in the chat. He said he stopped shooting.
Yeah, he stopped shooting. You gave up on it.
Hardest kill in the CDL, by the way. That guy, when he gets behind something, it's hard to kill him. It's so difficult.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to kill him. He does a good job just finessing and playing his life. But that would have been a big round right there, because that would have tied it up at 3. But you guys end up going down 2-4. Chris, just tell me a little bit about what Toronto was doing and kind of what caught you guys off guard this map. Sounds good, Jimmy Orange. Sounds good, Crowder. It's always a pleasure to hear from Chris Crowder himself.
Chris, obviously, very analytical mind.
Did he mute out? He muted out. Something happened.
Stuck in his chat. It's all good.
Oh, okay. Oh, is he live? Is he live? Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's live. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
He's using his. Wow, it's actually fucked up.
No. I told him it's okay. Yeah. We told him it's okay. We don't care. We don't really care.
No, then it's actually so fucked up.
Hold on, we let you come in the stream when you're live too. You have a special.
No, that's fine. As well. Next time I'll join.
You want what's actually mind blowing to see is how a lot of teams still don't like blind stack A versus a team that they blind stack B versus a team that goes B a lot, and they just love to push through. Why don't teams start stacking up on the ring and blind countering it? Because it feels like everyone just goes here every round.
People were against Toronto, but Toronto would always win those blind counters.
Cam made a great play here, and it just he got weak by that guy.
I thought it was over.
I thought he won that 1v2. It was actually the best play he could have made, and unfortunately he just got beat
Crowder,
down.
you're back, Crowder. I asked you a question. You muted out.
What? Sorry, I was
just gonna say, what was there anything that Toronto did that really caught your guys' eye, or a way that they blind counter you guys, or just you guys felt like you trolled a little bit? Like, what kind of happened this map?
I mean, dude, I think no matter how much prep you have on Toronto Ultra, I think they're an incredibly hard team to beat.
They're hard to play against,
bro.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. We've been working really hard too.
Yeah, honestly, I think the input is the reason why they're so goddamn good. But
I'm working very hard to prepare.
What that's coming at you, I just think they're really tough. They're really good at playing late flanks and being annoying, and I don't know. I just think overall it's just fucking no matter how much you know, they're just unpredictable.
Yeah,
you know everything that's coming at you, and you still don't know what's coming at you. It's the craziest thing. They're a tough team to play.
Yeah, we've been working on that. Yeah, we've been working on that for a while.
You're killing it, then keep doing it, bro.
Yeah, their situationals are just really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
They're mid-round. They're really good at just dissecting what the hell they need to do to give themselves an advantage or have a chance in winning the rounds. And the retakes are really good on this site every single time.
I just think everybody's been talking. I mean, I don't think anybody needs to gas up Ultra, because obviously everybody knows how good they are, but it's I think the one thing that is underrated about Ultra is the talent that the team actually has, is because people don't really know of players like Cammy and CleanX for a long period of time. I've been playing with them where I played with them for over a year and a half, and you watch these guys play and you play next to them, and they have the type of talent where you look at Simp and aBeZy, and obviously two of the most talented people, but CleanX is very, very good. Insanely talented. So everybody talked about the teamwork, but I think the talent overall from the team, and Bance as well. I think Bance, everybody sort of, I guess, underrated Bance, and it's I played with that guy for a while, and he just a lot better than everybody would give him credit for until this past stage. Or past
two stages. Can I expand on this thought a little bit too? I've seen a lot of bullshit spit about Toronto Ultra and LAN, that these guys are going to fall off. Let's not act like these guys went to COD Champs, the last one in Black Ops 4, and played very well. a lot of them when they went to that event. I think this Toronto team's going to do very well when they go to LAN, and I agree. I think people really underrate the skill talent of this team just because they're not the household names that we've seen over the last couple of years.
It's just the European stigma. Like, it's just been a thing for like a long time. I know a lot of the players don't really have that anymore, but a lot of the fans, that like all the NA fans, a lot of them still do. But you know, these guys are coming out time and time again these last 2 stages and proving that, you know, they can stay consistent and that they're gonna be a top team this year, no matter what way you break it down.
I want to switch gears and talk about this map because this ended up being, I believe, the only control that Toronto lost the entire major, correct? And it actually snapped, I believe, the 12 win streak in control.
Wow. They had a 12 win streak in control?
12, dude.
Yeah, 12 win streak was actually wild. And like these two teams had squared up on this map, I want to say earlier in this major, and Toronto ended up clutching on a couple different offensive rounds. It was FaZe's chance. Did a really good job on this first defense, and then they kind of run it up on the next offense that they get, and then they all clean it out on the 3-0. It was a big momentum swing in the series heading into map 4. I don't know if there's anything specific, Tom. I'll play the second round. I don't know if there's anything in specific else you wanted to talk about here.
Well, if they're going to lose the control to anybody, it's most likely going to be FaZe because they're another team who's disgusting at control. Do you have their record? Do you have a record for FaZe in control?
I think FaZe is the best control team in the game in terms of like win record. They're 22-7, Ultra 18-11.
God, but
yeah, FaZe, you gotta think Tupac has been helping out in the control.
Yeah, you sound a little better, yeah.
Tupac's been helping out in the control.
Yeah, you gotta think he's been really putting in his expertise and bringing the team along.
Strategy.
All right. Well, the main thing I see here in this round, and again, we talked about it yesterday with Bance on Toronto, but just getting that bridge control and bringing nuisance, like aBeZy's such a good job at just being in your face, just changing up corners, switching up lanes. It just delays time. It just makes it easier for his teammates to just kind of get on that point and just kind of set up. So, and then when he gets the kills, he ends up coming back and stacking the points. So not only he's pushing out cuts and getting kills, but he's coming back and hopping on the objective. So, I mean, it's just a really good play out of him. And just phase them to going up 2-0. And they go back on the defensive side. And they end up closing it out pretty quickly. And if I remember correctly, was this the map where Arcitys was fucking untouchable? Or am I thinking of another map?
Was that versus I think that might have been versus New York.
Have you guys talked about Alec yet?
Yeah, that was versus New York. You're right.
We have not talked about Alec, but if you want to go ahead and start that conversation.
No, I brought it up. I mean, the guy's on another level.
Let me guess Arcitys, because I mean, I think he was receiving the most flack prior to this stage about how he's been underperforming or has been performing, I guess, as best as the other three, and he came out and was fucking lights out in every single match, in the major. By far the player of FaZe in this stage, in my opinion.
Yeah, he looked great.
Yeah, him definitely for the stage. I think for the major, it was probably him or Cell, though. Cell had a crazy major, and he also had a really good grand final.
Yeah, as we watch this map, we were watching Cell just kind of dominate over by the B side and just get a lot of kills and be really annoying his face up the spawn trap, and we're able to close out this map. But I think I agree with you. It's probably either Alec or MC, aka Cellium. But I think Alec is a huge connective tissue piece in their team.
What?
Pick up out of the
Yeah, but I don't know. He always says some weird shit.
What the fuck do you say?
Connective tissue.
Connective tissue.
What are you, a surgeon?
What the fuck is that? The connective tissue. Fuck you.
Why am I getting flack for connective tissue?
I don't know. I personally never heard that.
It's better than saying like a glue guy. Like I think that phrase is fucking stupid.
I don't even know what that is.
Tissue. What are you
connective tissue, bro?
A heart surgeon?
All right, I'm here full time. Ben, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck, Ben?
I just like to mix it up with the phrases, man. Don't hate.
First of all, that play by Cell was sick.
But Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That play by Cellium was absolutely sick. But let's be honest with Arcitys. He's a scapegoat. The fans are always going to scapegoat Arcitys, no matter what. I already
said it. Every single team, for the most part, will have a scapegoat. Either the fans, the players, whoever it may be. There's always one player on each team, unless you're Optic. If you're on Optic, every single player is a scapegoat, depending on the series. So Formal needs to be dropped, then Dash needs to be dropped, then Scump needs to be dropped. Depending on the series, that's the scapegoat. But other than that, every team pretty much has a staple scapegoat, and you're fucking talking to them.
What, you?
No, I'm the fucking.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up, Zen, but
I'm the scapiest of the goats.
No.
Oh, wait. When you were playing on their team, I don't think you were. I mean, you got.
He got dropped, Chris.
Yeah.
Zen, you were definitely not the reason why your guys lost a chance. We'll just say that. That was not on you, brother.
It's all right.
Listen, man, we're bringing up the past for Zin, and he's probably losing fucking composure. So let's move on. We go into he's had a rough day. Losing to Gatarex in the losers finals.
He's my teammate, man.
Now
he's bringing that up.
Shit, you're right. Fuck, my bad. But let's get into the next map, right? Raid Hardpoint, another one. Toronto end up pushing this to a game number 5. But they come out and they do what they do best. They stay disciplined. They rotate to this basketball hill. They end up getting a good hold. But I'm curious, do you guys want to go into a listening with Toronto and see how they're sounding? I say we don't, because we go into listening with them.
I want to skip ahead, and I just want to watch the last 3 hills of this. It comes down to like a really good P5 break from Toronto and some weird timing. This is a really good raid hardpoint. Last time these 2 teams played, Toronto kind of wiped the floor with them. FaZe's been getting better at this map, and I think just Toronto would just end up making the better fundamental plays. Their breaks are really good, and again on the P5 did a good job kind of getting that break for the win and taking advantage of some bad timing on the FaZe side.
Pretty sure the P5, I didn't get to watch this because you don't get to like watch the very end because you're usually with the team already because you kind of know what happens. It gets spoiled. I know RJ was not happy with how we were holding the P5, so I'm actually curious to watch this live right now because I'm pretty sure RJ said like the way we played that last P5 hold was like really, really bad, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of spoils, Ben completely just spoiled the grand finals for us. He came into our TeamSpeak with a big smile on his face.
I spoiled it one round in, bro.
What do you mean? You spoiled the championship for the championship with the S&D.
Because you kept poking me over and over and over throughout that series. So I didn't
no, at the end of every...
you went in there and spoiled
He spoiled it during the watch party.
What did he say? What did he say?
No. It's not about what he said, Zinni. He never joins the TeamSpeak until in between maps because he always joins the FaZe TeamSpeak when they're playing.
He joined and said, well, the connective tissue was working out well. Unfortunately, it was a FaZe victory for a short time, obviously.
No, ultimately. But listen, he joins. He joins the middle of the Miami S&D, and I'm like, okay, why is he joining already? Like, did New York lose? And he goes, I'm not gonna say. And I said, okay.
What do you want me to say? Yes, bro. Like,
then at that point, you gave it away. You fucking joined and you gave it away.
I can't divide with Tommy's cousin, to be fair.
Yeah, Frankie joined. Those of you who don't know my first cousin, Frankie was joining us in the watch party today. It was a good time. But let's get back to the map. I'm curious to break down this P5 as well, because it's basically a tie game going into this P5. So we'll kind of see just what Toronto did to break on in. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure they watched some pinches. Do you know what RJ was complaining about the most, Chris?
RJ said he said we looked confused at the end. So I'm assuming if RJ says that, usually it just means that either our spawn Q and call was wrong, or like we just made a bad play. I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'm actually excited to see it.
I want to set this up by saying, by watching this clip, I do not want to ever see someone in their chat claim that the sub is better than the AR after you watch this gameplay.
Hold on. I could not believe Jamie won that fight versus Sim. I could not believe it.
I personally think Sim should have killed the guy in Hill first because they had no idea he was there. But at the heat of the moment, I can understand why he shot. So it's probably a lot easier to say in hindsight, watching it back. But if he would have just went for the kid in Hill first, especially with his teammates coming through ring, like all they need to do was just get Toronto out, and then they had rotation to ring, right? So he probably could have made a play shooting the guy in Hill. But yeah, I agree. How the fuck did Insight win that?
I don't know. I was flabbergasted, but the sub is better than they are.
Zinni, what are you out of your fucking mind? The Craig is all purpose.
It's right here. It's right here.
It's right here.
How do we get broken?
So Chris, watch number 1. The worst timing of all time.
It's Alec in the chat.
Alec, you kind of fucked up there.
Wait,
he gave up water stairs. He gave up water stairs.
Wait, go back really quick though. Go back.
How far back do you want me to go?
It's right here. Right here.
Yeah.
It's so we get the break. He said player of the stage. What's it called?
Maybe not on this map though, but go ahead.
Nah, I mean this is just it's either a miscommunication because we get the break and we should know at least one is coming pool stairs and we have everything but ring, so we should have like focused pool and zig and almost like let them have like the pillars there. But yeah, we gave up pool, and I mean that's it. That's the only reason why. It just looked like we didn't. It just looked like we didn't know that they were like spawning where they were and getting there as fast as they could. Because Alec goes to give a quick peek, and then it's just too late. Yeah, he gets shot in the back.
But even after this, you guys still had a chance to win this, and I really like the route that Simp took when he comes off spawn. So you see him right now, right? Number 3, he spawns up laundry, instantly starts hitting that long route. He's going, he's moving quick. They have no idea he's here. He hits the long route. They probably think nobody's coming. He comes through zig, and he ends up shooting this guy across the way. But if he just would have played for the guy in Hill and just got him out, because there was only so many, like a few seconds left.
Wow.
Yeah.
You saw how fast he did. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Insight won another crazy. Insight's nasty. First of all, he won another crazy fight like that in the raid S&D. I think it was a BZ that got to their like garage area, like by Jim, and he got 1 kill on the S&D and like went to get a 2-piece, and Insight just somehow won the fight, like something like that. That's a nasty.
He did headshot him. He headshot him.
Headshot multiplier.
I think he got a double headshot because to lower the kill time, you have to get 2 headshots to actually benefit from that.
Bro, that guy wins fights like that a lot. He's fucking nasty, dude. That's crazy.
Really good.
He won a few of those gunfights like that, dude, throughout that series. That was nuts.
No, 100%. It's just a 60. You see RJ in the chat, Craig 60 hertz OP.
You had to decipher that one, but go ahead.
Yeah, because at first I was like, what the fuck is this? Fucking a code?
Craig,
some sort of code?
He said Craig headshot 60 hertz multiplier OP.
Yeah, that one was a fucking
BS galore.
It looked like a fucking code. But yeah, I agree. The 60 hertz Craig is just on another level, and he just hit a headshot. But we end up going to a game number 5, and I'm not gonna lie, Chris, I was a little bit worried because I feel like Toronto is really good at Moscow S&D. Just the way that they work their offensive rounds and how they just keep players on their toes. They're just, like you said, Chris, just really unpredictable. But you guys do a good job taking care of them. Was there anything that you guys did going into it? Watch some VODs, see things that they like to do?
We do prep, of course, just like every team does. Yeah. But this is a map that we were really confident on because we played them really well on Checkmate because they didn't veto it the first time around. But Moscow, I think our stats on Moscow are undefeated right now.
Yeah, this is your best search map.
Yeah. So with this map, we were just like confident to play on, and just in general, I think the boys just know like what they're doing is going to work. Yeah. So this was just kind of 2 good S&D teams playing this. Kleenex, first of all, plays this amazing, by the way.
I thought he was gonna clutch this, and I almost had a heart attack.
Oh my!
The way Toby moves around the map is like a fucking gazelle in the woods. Just
Toby Kleenex, right?
Good description. Yeah,
I'm actually pissed that Cammy solo chowed the back door like that, because if he shouldn't have. He would have been alive with his team there.
Chris,
not sure exactly what happened there.
Do you think they should have planted for outer instead of planting for the face side, like for defense side? And just played like 2 outer and maybe like someone else around, so they just catch them.
I'm not sure what Chris you're talking to.
Yeah, I'm talking to you, Parasite.
If you think I'm sorry.
If you think that instead of planning for inner here, like planning for phases side, that they should have played around outer, just let phase come to them and slide in.
Did they not play? They planted for the Eskies. No?
No, I think they planted for inner.
I swear he's defusing. I must have just been faded, but I'm pretty sure he was defusing on the other side of the bomb. But I could be wrong. But I mean, either way, Cammy just did not need to chow here.
He's planning for Eskies, you're right.
Yeah, Cammy just did not need to chow here. There's really no reason for him to chow. Maybe he just thought he had some time. Cammy's a very confident player. He's a crackhead, so sometimes he's just gonna go for some crazy challenges, but he should have definitely been alive in that situation.
Man, you really like this plan for outer. You were talking about it during the watch party as well. Why do you like it?
I think it's a really good setup if you just finesse back there.
Finesse back where? Like the head glitches on outer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a bad setup. It's not a bad setup.
That brick wall.
Especially in 2s, I think that setup is like as best as you can set it up.
Yeah, but look at what Toronto's do. They do this shit on every offense in Moscow. They bring the bomb mid-map, and it looks like they don't know what the fuck to do, but they do know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
They know what they're doing,
yeah,
bro.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like so annoying to play against. And it's like, it's always so funny to see the defensive team, Chris, just get staggered because they have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Look how well Cammy plays this after the information they get.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. They're such a good S&D team just in general.
They do a good job. They do. That's it. They do a great. Nothing. You're just funny. They do a great job just keeping teams on their. Listen, Tin. Fuck you. How the fuck am I funny?
Funny, yeah. I'm a clown.
What am I, a fucking clown?
What the fuck is so funny about me?
I don't know.
Besides that first round where I said Cammy shouldn't have challenged, Cammy just notoriously has like really good awareness in search, and it feels like he always knows the opening, dude. Like he always knows when he can hit this and like get through every time or get a free kill. Like he's just a really good search player.
They play with teams. They play with them. They know what they're doing.
He was a search star. Like he was.
Oh, was he?
He's
always been in like the search chows and like he came from search. Unless I'm talking out of my fat asshole, which is possible.
Wait, what?
I have a big asshole.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive he came from the search scene, and he's always like he's always a playmaker. Like he's not hesitant at all. He's always willing to just go.
I see that we got a pause coming in from Ben J and his team. Ben, what's going on here? Why the pause?
I think this is a swing round. This is the Abizi ace round. I have no idea.
Great round.
I don't know how he's finessing out 4 kills here.
Yeah,
so
dude,
watch it live.
I don't know how he does half the fucking things he does, but he does them anyway. He somehow gets an ace. He pushes up. He finds an opening. He hits the gap. He wins. He shoots somebody in the back. How the fuck did he win that gunfight against Bance in the window? I don't know.
He had to stop shooting or something.
I don't know what the fuck happened. Then he pulls out his pistol, gets another one, and then he ends up picking up a trade at the end for the ace. But overall, just a great round out of Abizi. The one thing I love about watching him play is he's not scared to make plays. If he sees a gap, he's gonna fucking hit it. And it's one of those things, right? Like sometimes it might hurt the team if he's doing it, but for the most part, this guy's winning his ones. You know what I'm saying? He's just so talented at doing it that you just want to let this guy fucking fly. So that's exactly what he did. He picks up the ace. Next round phase, they decide to hit a quick B plant. They hit that B side of the map super fast. Abizi's close to streaks, so he's bobbing around. He's trying to bait his teammates. I'm pretty sure he gets 1 streak here, but I'm pretty sure he ends up falling after this. I don't remember how the rest of this played out. But a good job by Toronto to get a retake. MC clutches the 1v2 here. Great shots by MC here. If you want to leave anybody in the clutch, MC is Cellium, by the way, for those of you listening on audio and have no idea who we're talking about. Cellium is definitely a good player you want to leave in a clutch. He's just really annoying to play against. But he ends up clutching it. FaZe go up 5-2. And then ultimately they close out this map and win the series. And then we go on to the grand finals, Ben.
Toronto, sorry about that, but Toronto just like skimming through these rounds, it just seems like they weren't playing like themselves. Like they were doing a lot of like over challenges, like even that last round, right? The bomb was planned for street. It wasn't even planned for inside that window. And you see one of the Toronto players just chase into the double window and go to like try to get that kill where he didn't need to. Granted, they lost a 1v2. It just seems like they were making a lot of mistakes. They weren't playing like themselves at all. I mean, not to discredit FaZe at all, because obviously you guys played well and made great plays and stuff like that. It's just like it doesn't seem like they were playing like their normal selves. They were throwing away a lot of.
You have Crowder in here. He's been working really hard.
No. You can just see the mistakes being made. You can just see the mistakes being made out of Toronto's side to not even give themselves a chance in the round and to throw away some easy, potential round clutches. But yeah.
That's just how it goes, dude.
Yeah.
We do. Every team does that, bro. Yeah. It's just I agree though. There was a lot of plays where like, damn, like that was a freebie. Like when you give another really good team like freebies like that, most of the time they capitalize and you just lose.
Exactly.
That's a huge reason why that's like most teams lose. To be honest, is like that. Limiting those mistakes is how you end up coming out on top most of the time, but it's just tough. Yeah, it's so hard in the moment sometimes, bro. Not make them.
We've seen it in countless series this year where you go map 5 and things hit the fan, people make mistakes, people get nervous, people get scared essentially, and shit like that happens all the time, man.
Yep, and then we go into the best of 9 grand final. We got the New York Subliners going up against Atlanta.
Hey, wake up.
FaZe, of course, FaZe, right, want to get their revenge against New York. We had a battle of a series for this grand final spot. I'm curious that we have all you in here, but I know this has been like a topic of discussion that we've talked about before, but what are you guys' thoughts on the format? Like the winners, the winners finals. You think it's shit, Chris? I think it's shit as well.
I said it. Listen, I have said it since we won the first stage, lost the second stage, and now we have won the third one. It's shit.
I agree.
Bro,
it sucks.
We had an advantage going into this finals, just like we didn't have the advantage in the last finals. It's dumb.
Yep. I remember that. We were talking about it when you guys were in the last finals. We were talking about that.
It's the same thing. You should not be able to come out hot off of that. Like, what was the point of New York winning yesterday?
That's why I think, Chris, one thing that could probably help.
It's the same thing when we did it last stage. What was the point? It was dumb.
I agree. I agree.
I think, Chris, like the best in 9 format, we can sit here and kind of talk about it until our faces are blue. I think moving the winners finals to Sunday will kind of help with that issue. So,
I disagree.
But that would at least, from my POV, that would at least give the winners, like, you'd be off for 1 hour, an hour and a half, and then you'd be back playing. So you don't have that like ice feeling. You know what I mean? It's just more of a traditional thing you would have at events. Like the losers is always going to be more hot because they're playing in between those matches. But then, like New York has sat around all day just waiting for their match to pop. And I know they end up winning this first map, but you guys have been.
But we won the first map too. I'm pretty sure.
You guys lost first map.
But we ended up like taking a lead. My point is, look, when we lost to Toronto, we didn't have like that map wouldn't have made a difference. Like they beat us, I think it was 5-3 in the final, right? And then when we just beat New York, that map wouldn't have made a difference either. On paper, when it comes to momentum and mentality of that final, having that map is huge, like plain and simple. And the fact that we we didn't have anything on Toronto in stage 2 when we got screwed, and like New York not having it on us, like my opinion doesn't change from start of it to now. It's stupid.
Yeah.
All they have to do, it's very simple. New York won on Saturday for no fucking reason. Just like we won on Saturday in stage 2 for no reason. There's no point of winning that. Last major, we only lost once, and we lost the entire tournament. This stage, New York only lost once, and they lost the entire tournament. It's dumb. All you have to do is give them a 1-0 lead. That's it.
Yep. I agree.
They should have been up 2-0, and I'm telling you now, like, I think my team would have been fine, and I think most teams would be, but going up 2-0 after New York won that Garrison is a lot harder mentally to deal with than being like, oh, we're only down 1-1, and then we win the checkmate, it's tie game. Then we win the next map, we're up 2-1. It's like we should have won that next map, it should have been 2-2. Like, I've said this when it was in my team's favor, and I'll say this when it's not in my team's favor. It's bullshit. Just give the team a 1-0 lead, so there's no... Other than that, dude, the veto advantage is bullshit. Those maps are fine. If you're playing a team in the finals, they're good enough to play 9 maps.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if a team makes it to the finals, you're good enough to play 9 maps. The veto advantage is dumb. Just give the team a map and call it a day.
Yeah. If a team makes it to the finals with auto vetoes, then that's pathetic in terms of the competition, which that'll never happen.
And the league is too competitive for that shit.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. That's just stupid. I've said it since day one. This like format was announced. It was dumb. It has to be changed.
But let's get into the map, right? We kick things off in the best of 9 at Garrison Hardpoint. We have an Astro Gaming listening from the New York Subliners. I want to tune in because I did really enjoy this listening, especially Hydra. It's always great to hear his comms. So let's just tune in and see how they sound.
P2.
Okay.
I hit him with an 8.
One spawn out.
He's arch. 1 minute.
Let's go. Green weak. Dead. Let's go. Let's do only 2 here.
Good job.
Sip, last kid here. He's on this side. He's on this side.
He wants Jens.
I'm gonna go full around plat.
Okay.
Cages. He's sitting behind the pillar. Still behind the pillar.
Weak.
Behind pillar. You went left side pillar.
Bricks.
He's in there. That's all of them. That's all on this side. They're all on the other side. Get green control, Sam.
Heard you.
One spawn killing him.
One green.
Paco's spawn killing him. I'm blocking plat.
One more.
Oh my god.
Let's go. Paco. Matt, get our side.
Back tank.
Come on. I need a trophy on Tom if you have it.
Gunfight. Let's go.
I got a trophy.
Yo, one might spawn boxes with the way Paco spawned.
Okay.
Don't freak out. Not everybody freak out.
I'm watching it. I'm the pitch.
Alright, there's 2 P2, 1 L.
Okay.
3 P2, I think. Maybe 3.
Wait. Don't die.
Okay.
Alright, don't die.
BZ only one shot, people.
Don't die.
Pinch. He came up rails. He's
Rails and people. I flipped.
Yeah. Let's go left, play.
Top cat. Really weak. One bullet.
He's
I got one pack. I'm watch out. One behind Paco. Chase you.
Behind us.
I knew dead. I got him.
Alright.
Good kill.
I'm gonna go back to the back. I'm gonna go play main tank, okay? I'm gonna go play tank.
Yeah, I need that. Someone. Okay. You see trees?
Close one shot. BZ.
I need her to. I'm holding back.
One top.
Charles ended there. I mean, that was comedy. I love the ending of that when he's like, good kill. And then when he goes, I can't lose a gunfight. Like, that shit was funny as fuck. I mean, I'm going to be honest. New York, they came out really strong, right? They came out strong. The comms sounded great. Just a lot of energy. You seen Clay just bringing the hype, right? Getting these young guys pumped up. And they do what they do best in the hardpoint. I mean, New York is just a really good hardpoint team.
This is their best map, Tom. I actually believe they have not lost this map to anyone since they picked up Hydra.
Yeah, this is a really good map for them. They just play really well off each other. They stay disciplined. They're good on their rotations. They're good on breaks. And at the end of the day, they were just winning a lot of gunfights. And they're just really annoying to play against on this map. But, of course, after this map, things kind of to fall apart a little bit for them. But Chris, I'm curious, watching these New York guys play, from somebody from the outside looking in, and obviously your team's playing against them. These guys are obviously a tough matchup for you, I would guess, right? Because you're in the grand final. But what is it about these guys that makes it so hard to play against?
Well, I think right now, currently, the way they're playing, they're so good at holding hills and like just playing smart. Like they let the play develop. And you can hear it even in the communication. I think a lot of that goes down to Clay, not discrediting any of them. I think they're all really, really good players. But like Clay, you heard it right there. He's like, not everyone freak out. Not everyone freak out. Like he keeps everyone calm. And when they're in like the position to like get that wave of kills that you need before you push out, they do that step really, really well. And that like leads to them being able to take advantage of the map, which a lot of teams struggle where they try and push out too early. They get antsy, where I feel like Clay keeps the team pretty calm for the most part. And every time they're like in that setup, none of them move, and they all trust each other be like, yo, if you need help, I can also like provide you a crossfire, but if you don't, I'm gonna hold this lane. And then all 4 of them hold their lane. They do what they need to do, and like they're just such a good team because of that. That's why I think it's so hard to play these guys right now in Hardpoint in general. Of course, we won some and we lost some, but like that map specifically, you hear like Clay and all of them how like their small talk was just so on point. That is what makes them such a good team. And honestly, I think that gets overlooked in Call of Duty, which is like mentality and and communication and all that. I think Clay has a lot of that to like every team he's on, and I think that's why you're kind of seeing a lot of why this team is so good. On top of that, all their players are like so on the same page. Asim's really good at small talking. Even Paco, like the Hydra,
not bad, right?
Like,
not bad.
I mean, you got to give the kid some credit. Like he's doing great for obviously learning a different language. Like he even sounded pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. I think Clay's leadership in a way to keep them calm is like the reason why they're so good.
Yeah, I also think that's Clay's best map in HP. Every time I feel like they play Garrison, he always goes nuts on that map.
Yeah, he's definitely confident on it. It looks like he just knows like the timings, the angles, and everything like that.
Yep. And then we get into a Checkmate S&D, and this is a map that I thought was going to be a battle, because I personally think you guys are really fucking good at this map, Chris. And I feel like just having the tiny terrorists is worth through playing and shit like that is just really hard to deal with. But New York, they come out hot. Hydra comes out with a big 3-piece to open things up. They win the first round. You guys bounce back right away. I thought it was interesting that New York actually played for an A-bomb plan right there. And I saw that you paused it.
Yeah. We watched it back. I mean, ultimately, like I felt like New York maybe could have gotten the. It's a hard bomb to plant, and they got a pick, and then they didn't really do much with it. Simp was able to pinch Clay out in top red, and at that point, it sort of like fell apart. They was able to get their base back and be able to collapse. It was an interesting idea from New York. They just never really got in a really good bomb down situation for them to capitalize on it.
Yep, 100%. And then you just see a lot of battles going on this B site. Honestly, a lot of rounds, just a lot of trades going down. It gets really mixy on this map, to be honest. So I didn't know who was gonna win personally. I thought this was a swing map for us. I thought we needed to win this map, but I don't know what you guys think.
It does get really mixy on this map, but even like going back to like challengers, I play this map all the time. This is a map where, especially on defense, you can win rounds 3v4 because just of the nature of the map and the bombs and stuff like that. And they're like in that round, you saw Clay, I think, pushing up on the left wing when the rest of his team was kind of just turtling in the plane, and he's kind of getting a little antsy trying to make a play. You know how Clay gets sometimes. He likes to do his thing, go rogue sometimes. But like I feel like a lot of these defenses that these teams throw away is because they think they need to make plays when they don't, and that's I think why they lost that defense at least.
Yeah, 100%. It was very back and forth. There was a lot of individual plays this round. There was a round where Asim popped a 3-piece, Hydra popped a couple pieces, Simp ended the game with a big fucking 3-piece. I was like, dude, it's just so much talent on this map. Like, it's just so back and forth. You don't know what the hell is gonna happen. And at the end of the day, FaZe do a good job just clutching up and making plays. And just want to give props to Simp because he made a really big play to end this map. And I think this was a huge swing map in favor of FaZe. To add on top of this, we do have standoff that is going to be... Is standoff being added in now? When is standoff getting added in?
It should be soon. I think it's the next update this week, maybe.
I'm pretty sure it's soon, yeah.
I think it's this week. I think it's coming with the... There's an update coming, I think, this week.
Yeah, like the mid-season update.
With like weapon changes and stuff like that. I think it might be coming then.
The 20th. Everybody's spamming the 20th in the chat, so that's in 4 days.
Yeah, and that's when the new weapon tuning update. So we might have a new meta, folks. We'll see how drastically it changes as well on top of the map.
I think to that point, be very interested to see if standoff. We obviously know its prowess in Hardpoint, S&D. Curious to see if it is going to be in the rotation what maps come out. This might have, for example, been the last Checkmate S&D we see if they're going to bring in standoff. Maybe Miami's another map that might get cut. And on the Hardpoints, I'm very curious which of the maps may go in favor of standoff if we have to keep the same number of maps in the pool.
Yeah, we let this 5-5 play out. Do you guys want to discuss that? Like, what maps do you guys think should come out for each game mode? Hypothetically, let's say standoff is a good control map. What would you replace it for? Because we know it's going to replace a Hardpoint and Search.
Checkmate control.
It's got to be Checkmate control, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I think Checkmate control is the worst control by far.
You guys really think it's Checkmate? Because I feel like for me, it's Garrison. Garrison, it's like super easy to get into the spawn trap. Like Checkmate's a little bit more difficult, but Garrison is literally the easiest map to push into people's spawns.
I thought Checkmate a while ago, and I think Checkmate's growing on me in the sense that like I think it's just easier from an offensive perspective to actually like regain control after losing it. Whereas
I know where you're coming from with that for sure.
Garrison seems legitimately impossible.
Impossible, yeah.
The map is so small, and once you get trapped back there, it's like, okay, say for example, you break out P3 side, which is you or Dark, I don't know what you guys call it. You kill that guy Dark, it's like, great. Well, now we have these 2 little doorways to go through, and we're being stared at from mid, the P4 tank. It's like, there's no winning.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I think if I were to guess, it'd probably be Garrison, for me at least. That goes.
I think Checkmate, like personally speaking, we were good at Checkmate too. Like last stage, it's like we're definitely a little bit better at Garrison. So it's like slightly biased, but I think Checkmate is just boring to watch. Like I think like on top of it,
I get that.
I think they both suck. By the way, I don't think either of them are that good. Just to be clear. But it's like I just feel like, dude, Checkmate is such a pain in the ass to watch sometimes, dude. Like I don't know. I think either way. I think either way, it's a W in controls, to be honest. So hopefully standoff is good.
What about for HPs? Because this is where it gets tricky, in my opinion. Because S&D, we all know it's probably going to be Checkmate just because of the viability of the bomb site. Yeah. Even though I don't think Miami is good, I know Miami's in just because of the fact.
Smaller.
Yeah, I agree. But Miami's literally only in because both bomb sites are viable, and that's literally the only reason why.
What about Apocalypse?
If you were to ask me personally,
yeah,
S&D wise, I would rather replace Miami with standoff.
I agree.
That's the things that I'm curious because you know how these votes go down. There's a little bit of team politicking that's going to go on.
Of course,
a lot of teams may feel more comfortable in Checkmate than Miami, so I'll be very curious if it does go to a vote with the pro players and the teams how that breaks down because it may not necessarily go the way we predict. Basically,
the thing with Checkmate is like I'm not sure what it is about Checkmate. Like I actually can't even give you like an actual like logical perspective. I just think it's better than Miami. Like I watch Checkmate compared to Miami, and I'm like the better team should win this map. Whereas Miami seems very like fluky or like just I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but
I know what you mean. I agree. I think they both suck again. So it's like
they both shit.
They're both not very good, man.
It's pick your poison.
Exactly.
Yeah, it really is.
I just wish Miami was smaller and also in the daytime.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Now the last one for HP. This is where it gets tricky, in my opinion, because I know people. Wait, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, you go.
I was just going to explain the fact that, like, obviously we have Raid. That's not going to go anywhere, even though I don't think Raid plays as good as it did in BO2 in this game. That's maybe my little bias. But then you have...
still good, though.
Yeah, it's still not bad at all. And then you have APOC, which recently got added in. Were we really willing to take that out as soon as we, like, basically put it into the rotation, just swap it out right away? Or were we going to go for a different direction, like let's say get rid of Garrison or Checkmate? I don't think Moscow will go. I think a lot of people like that map. Garrison or Checkmate, you know, the tradition is to get rid of the Cold War maps, I guess. So what do you guys think?
Dude, this is coming from a bad APOC team. Like everyone, trust me, every time we play APOC, everyone tweets me that I'm a shitty coach because we play it. Like,
yeah, shit coach.
I don't see why APOC's a bad map. I think it plays fine.
Yeah.
Like the whole P1, P2 bullshit, like good side is bullshit.
That's the case. It's very easy to flip.
Every time we have lost that map, it has had nothing to do with the start of that P1, P2 side at all.
Yeah.
We've just made bullshit mistakes and we've gotten punished for it. That's why I feel like I don't understand why people hate APOC so much. If you make mistakes, you get shit on for it.
This is just something about the map in general, but your best chances of flipping, and this is the only reason I compare it to Hackney Yard, your best chances of flipping the spawns are always at the on P1, just like it is on Hackney, remember? And then on the rotation from P5, like trying to get that like P2 spawn. It's the same concept. Once P2 pops, that's when it gets really difficult. And the only thing I'd maybe like to see, I want to see maybe like a little bit of map editing, like how they did with like all the other maps where they like changed some things, maybe even like moved the hill back or something. Maybe I think it's not bad the way it is, but at least like give it some sort of like a chance, you know, with like editing it a little bit before we just get it out. In my opinion, I think that's probably the best thing they can do if people really have any sort of problem with it.
All right, Vandahar.
Well, back else? No, I want to get back into this map because this is the map where RCDs just literally took the fuck over. The series is tied up at 1. We go into a Garrison control. RCD starts off like fucking 12-0 or 12-1 or some shit.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, didn't FaZe just 3-0 us here?
This run actually ends in a 1v1 time, so I want to kind of let it play out because it was like pretty mixy end. It's just frantic, a lot of big plays being made by both teams, and ultimately comes down to one gunfight.
Yeah, no, a big one-on-one win. I think this was another one that was just a big map, but I think FaZe did a good job just, you know, keeping the pressure on. You guys are really good at hardpoint, just getting kills and being annoying. RC was able to find streaks really early, and those streaks definitely help a lot to close out the rest of this defense. But I think at the end of the day, New York have a lot of work to do in control. I think if they can get their control better and really focus on this game mode, it'll really make them a better team. And it's something that we talked about a little bit throughout the last few couple shows. They definitely need to start working on this game mode a little bit more because it's hurting them. It's really hurting them. And FaZe definitely punished them in this game mode. And they took a 2-1 lead in this series. And I just want to give a shout out to Arcedes because he played incredible. And arguably Tom, the MVP of the series. Yep.
From my POV, as we watch the 3v3 go down here, that goes into a 1v1. I agree with you about New York in control. I also think they need to continue to innovate in S&D. They have a lot of really good teamwork and search. They can't be complacent. Teams are going to get better in that game mode. And if they can continue to figure out how to use Hydra and Asen, which are their dynamic playmakers in S&D, and they can stay relevant in that game mode, they're going to continue to hold down this top 3 spot.
Yeah, they just need to keep working on it. I mean, they have so much talent. I feel like control is all finesse and kills and stuff like that. Mac almost clutched this 1v2 at the end. I think Celine might have messed up his movement a little bit. He messed up his movement. He got caught slipping. I think if Mac might have just like held a preem and just kind of hit a camera instead of trying to get fancy with it with like a slide cancel or something, he might have been able to win that. But at the end of the day, FaZe, they closed out the defense and end up closing it out on this last offense, and they win 3-0, and then we go into the next map. I mean, this map went by really quick. FaZe definitely needed or New York definitely needed a bounce back map, but again, we go into a Moscow hardpoint, and this was another one where I was just watching it back with my cousin, and it just seemed like FaZe was just locking down a lot of those rotations. They kept flipping out spawns. I just felt like New York was always fighting from a disadvantage, so FaZe just did a good job staying ahead of the game and just staying disciplined and playing the map the right way. But Ben, I'm curious, or anybody else in here, if there's anything that caught your eye during this series.
There's a couple of plays. We're going to watch this P3 break here in Moscow real quick. And then I want to break down another P3 that happens on the second rotation. And some plays that New York made that I think we should talk through if they were the right play or the wrong play. But ultimately, you know, we know FaZe is very strong on this map. This is kind of like the end of the first set of the best in 9, and then after this we got into sort of like the more unpredictable maps because neither team had played them in a while. I just feel like FaZe played really good. They just stayed ahead of the game. Their P3 holds were like pretty much excellent. They beat New York by 80 points on P3, 88-8 in points, which is really good. And they were basically the P2s were wash. And if you can get that kind of ratio between P2s and P3s on this map, you're going to win by a lot.
Yeah, which is impressive because they're literally hills on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, FaZe, they do a great job just closing it out. They started to walk away with the series a little bit. And it was, you know, it's once you start getting a good lead, I think for the most part against a team like FaZe, it's really, really hard to just come back and win maps like that in a row. So just a huge shout out to FaZe right there. They end up closing it out. I mean, you see right here, they basically have a 100-point lead at this point. It's pretty much over as long as they're staying disciplined. We do have a FaZe listening that Coach RJ really wants us to go on board with. But Ben skipped it.
I'll go back.
We'll go back, but we do have a listening for Atlanta FaZe. We got assistant Coach RJ disappointed at Ben, so we're gonna rewind it. We're gonna get this listening and let's see how they sound.
Get time. Hold on. Already on new.
Play one shot new.
Go.
We spawn deep link. What's pitching? What's it gold?
He's on the car. Car. Right here.
He's on the car down. Let's get scrapped. MC, I'm in mid.
Okay.
No. Nice.
Not peeking. He's not peeking.
Good shit fight.
What's up, Sergeant? Last time in MC.
Yeah.
Nice.
How'd you get?
He's on the couch.
Half place. There's gonna be a glove one half over time.
I don't see anything SQs. I'll team SQs.
They're taking their glove right.
I have your SQs. I don't see anything.
Right.
Remember, they're gonna overstay.
I have your left.
Yes, I have
Left.
Another one left. I'll see if
I
think they're spawning.
He's in time. He's taking corner. Get the scrap. Yeah, that's fine.
That is a tough flip.
I'm right.
He's trying right. Still there.
That is a tough flip.
I still got him. Nuclear, good shot.
They would have got all that time though. Kept spawns though.
Hydra.
Oh.
Go, I get time.
He's running out. On team closet.
They maximize the P1 time, which is what you want to see.
I mean, I'm just going to shut it off here. But the one thing, I was going to bring it up. I mean, the one thing, Hydra works the pinch, right? New York end up not blocking the spawns. It ends up flipping them out. And I agree with Parasite. If Hydra's pinching that, I don't mind the pinch from Hydra. I just think it needs to be calmed, or somebody needs to make sure that when he's doing that we're holding. Because then if we can hold all that P1 time and hold spawns to P2, we can really get back into this game. I mean, if we get 2 really good holds, we probably get close to tying it up, or at least, give ourselves a better chance of winning. I know FaZe is winning by a shit ton, but it's definitely not over till it's over, right? Definitely some body shots being there by RC's. Fuck, Alec, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding.
The way it looks, New York was just playing frustrated because you go while we were watching this, you go back to some of the times Ben was pausing the VOD. There's just a lot of overchows or people pushing when they should have been holding, and it just seemed like they were really frustrated. This map. They couldn't stop.
I mean, that's what FaZe does. They punish you and they build a big lead and they get you flustered and they get you on your feet. This was an incredible clutch going into this next map, right? We go into a Miami S&D. Hydra starts off the map with a big clutch. I mean, just the way he's able to maneuver around here, this corner of the map, and just kind of stay down from both players. Just the situational awareness that he has is just incredible. I mean, it was just a great play out of him. He's able to clutch up this first round. It just gives them some good momentum going into the rest of the map. They end up going up 5-0. There's not really much to say on this map other than New York almost got full sailed, and I start getting a little bit nervous. They went up 5-0. I start talking all my shit in the watch party. I said, FaZe can't hang, this and that. FaZe start winning rounds. They start bringing it back. But for the most part, Miami S&D, you see people spreading the map. People like to play it really slow on this map now.
New York has really good retakes. They use the full map to their advantage and get good timings. I just really like the way New York played this. And on the FaZe side, they looked a little bit sloppy. And this is a good rebound map for New York. We kind of these stretch at 3 maps, which are the unpredictable maps in the series. And New York did a good job of taking the first one and get back to only down 1 map in the best of 9.
Yeah, I'm curious to ask you, Parasite, just kind of how people like to play this map in challenges, because I feel like at the pro level, people play it the same.
Miami?
It's just very slow paced now. I feel like people don't do anything crazy, especially on the offensive side. They just play for info and try and work off their info and work off their picks.
I don't think I've won this map once in challenges. No bullshit. But at the same time, every time I lose it, it's the same thing. It's literally just spreading the map. You have one guy sit top balcony or somewhere around the middle of the map, calling the crosses, and essentially you're just trying to pick or make people over rotate by stalling time, and it's a really frustrating map to play because a lot of it sometimes comes down to timing, and then if you dwindle that clock as on the defensive team, it gets to a point for the offense where they don't have time to check everything. So you're basically just going to win the round because of the clock at that point.
Yeah, no, 100%. FaZe, they try bringing it back a little bit. Definitely gets a little bit mixy, but New York end up clutching up the map, end up winning it, and we send it over to a checkmate control. And this is where things get interesting, because this is such a big map for New York. They need to tie the series up at 3, because the minute, put it this way, FaZe wins, they go up 4-2 in the series. They need 1 more series to win. If they lose it, it's tied at 3. It's just such a swing game. It's such a big map. The one thing that I noted down on this map is the defensive sides were absolutely dominated from both teams. The first 2 defenses, both teams just came out, put the team in a trap. And it's just so easy to do. When you're a good team, and especially 2 teams like this that are going at it in the grand finals that know how to pin you in the back of your base on checkmate control and just kind of spawn trap you and not let you out, it's so annoying to play against. We really didn't see anything happen until the overtime round. And the fact that New York was able to get a tick here, was able to capture a point on one of these offenses and get that defense on the overtime, I thought we were going to be able to close it out. But FaZe do a great job clutching up on the offense, and I'm curious to see what you guys think on how they were able to do that.
Yeah, before you go, Parasite, FaZe kind of chalked A here and just kind of let them cap it. A little bit of an interesting decision. I feel like, especially with the way this map was going, and I know you don't want to get stuck in transition and lose the round, like we've seen teams get put in the blender, but it ended up, by them making that decision, they basically guaranteed they were going to get offense round 5. Paris, I don't know if you feel the same way. It's just kind of a risk reward with how this map plays out sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that's really all control is a lot of the time. Sometimes you literally just have to chalk points just to keep your life lead and not over challenge and just basically trust the process of the map. It's like, okay, they're going to cap this point, but we know they're going to be pinned on this side of the map. All we need to do at this point is play one wave rather than like, okay, even though the clock is dwindling, let's make this last ditch effort to try to stop the point. And granted, we might win the round right away, but if it doesn't work out, we give them an opportunity rather than like, okay, we're going to do a nice clean setup and we're not giving them a single chance to basically win at that point.
Yep, FaZe just do a good job just working the map on this overtime. They get some kills. They're able to lock down that 8 point. New York, they're scrambling right. It ends up going down to lives, and it gets really mixy at the end of this final round. Asim is left in a 1v4, but the problem is 3 guys from FaZe are spawning out, and there's only 3 or 4 seconds left to get on that point. So it basically comes down to a 1v1 on the point with Asim, and I forget who the final player is that takes him down. It was Arcees. If Arcees doesn't win this 1v1 on the B point, this map goes to New York. This pretty much comes down to a 1v1 on the B point. And man, was my heart pumping watching this. First of all, Asim was going rogue at the end of this map. He was making a huge problem. Top lane and bottom lane. He was all over the place. He was picking out kills. They couldn't keep track of him. He just kept switching lanes and switching corners. And with 8 seconds left, all of New York falls. It's all down to Asim. But it comes down to a 1v1 on the point. And after all the work that Asim just did, if he would have won that 1v1, it would have been spectacular. But he ended up getting taken down. It was just a great play from Arcees to challenge quickly with the pistol, get him off that point, and just take that map. And you see how hyped the FaZe guys are to win that map, because now they go into a raid S&D, and if they win this map, it's all over. I mean, New York, right?
That came down to that 1v1, but Sims 2-piece won that game.
Yeah,
at the end right there.
Yeah,
he doesn't get that, like that 2-piece. Like, I think he won the fight on Hydra. That was like the difference. Like, it's like, dude, that was
just like his 2-piece won the map too.
Yeah,
in the
that was a super impactful 2-piece.
Fuck that guy, bro. Fuck that guy.
Switching.
I can't stand that fucking guy.
Switching gears, the last time, Chris, you guys kind of played New York, you guys kind of let them take middle on you a lot. You guys were content to play the other stretches of the map. Ultimately, you lost in round 11. Like, I noticed you guys made sort of a big adjustment in this early stage of this map, and you just said, screw it, we're going to chow these guys mid and take care of business. Was that like an intentional game plan you guys had to sort of counter what they'd done the past 2 guys?
I mean, all right, yes and no. Like, we definitely knew they liked to play mid, of course, but at the same time, I feel like every team plays mid, and we just weren't, because we weren't a good S&D team at the time. Like, at the beginning of the stage, we were like really working on it. That's like kind of just when we hired John or Tupac, and we were like trying to fix everything that was going wrong in S&D. So I think like just by this time, we just knew how important middle is on raid in general. Even when you watch like Toronto play it, New York play it, us play it, and we just knew that like the only way to beat a good team on this map is to control middle. So like it was like kind of a game plan, but at the same time, I feel like the meta on raid right now is in mid. So it's kind of like a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's been like that literally since Black Ops 2.
Yeah.
No BS.
Yeah.
It's always been important.
I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I blinked and this map was over. You guys deadass just came out and just pretty much just pushed that gas pedal down and just pretty much just hit us out every single round. I mean, just look at how fast these rounds are going by. We're going 3-4 dead within seconds every single round, and it just shows the ability that FaZe has to just take over a map. I definitely think New York got caught off guard a little bit. This round wasn't even, they got all the kills so fast that it wasn't even ending because they got it so fast. Celium was able to pick up 3 in seconds. Clayster, Asim, and Hydra all lined up. Now listen, I know how Optic felt when they lined up on that S&D, because the minute I saw New York line up right there, I say, you know what? This is over. It's just the way these first 3 or 4 rounds went and how fast they were ending. This was pretty much just curtains. We were able to pick up a kill here or there, but for the most part, FaZe, they end up taking the final S&D, the raid S&D. You guys can go back and watch it if you want, but I personally don't think there's anything to talk about. They ran all over us this map. Just pretty much ego chowed everything, just hit everything as a team, and I just think their momentum and confidence just helped them finish out this tournament. So I just want to give a huge congratulations to Crowder in the call right now, head coach of Atlanta FaZe. Everybody at Atlanta FaZe, all those guys over there, you guys played amazing. You guys 100% deserve to win today. And I'm excited to see what you guys do moving forward. And then on top of that, I want to give a shout out to New York and the subliners and all the guys over there, Clay, Asa, Mac, Hydra. And then, of course, Coach Bobble, Coach Revan, right, and JP, and all the work that they do, because the team looks spectacular. And just to see the improvements that they've made over the last few weeks has been amazing to see, especially Hydra, who's came from a different country and learning a new language. Just seeing what he's able to do with some of these guys, it's just really exciting to see. So I'm just curious to see how they do moving forward. And I'm just really excited to see some more COD moving forward. But I think at the end of the day, it was an amazing tournament this weekend. I think
this major was amazing, dude.
Well said, Tom.
It was so fun to watch. From you see London stepping up, upsetting some teams when the people didn't think they were going to do too good.
Yep.
You saw life in Florida before they ended up going 0-6. You saw everyone else taking care of business, and then the story of Optic coming back and making a run throughout the tournament. It was a super fun major, man.
Nasty kill from MC right
crazy
there.
Major. The competition is on a whole nother level, guys. We're gonna see nothing but more COD, more great COD. People are only gonna get better. These matches are only gonna get closer. So you already know the flank will be live after many other majors, many other league plays matches. What?
Since we've been on the show, I wanted to cover a couple of things. I think someone shouted out, obviously Easter won, Challengers Open in the NA today, so shout out to them.
Yep.
I think what the Elevate team, the Bids and Detain team, won the EU Open, correct, I believe?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they did.
Shout out to them as well. And then Tom, I think we should talk about a couple of tweets that CDL Intel sent over.
I got them up right here. We could talk about this, go into some questions and call it a day, because there's obviously no predictions, because there's nothing to fucking predict. But let's go into the CDL tweet. I'm told Ravens could be in for another roster switch heading into stage 4. Zapkius' contract is likely expired, and Alex could make his way back to the starting roster. Alex went back home for personal reasons in March. Side note, Afro is apparently close to sorting out his visa issues. Not sure on the time frame of when he could land in US if everything works out, though. Stage 4 begins May 27th. Initial thoughts?
Well, sorry, I had to clear my throat. I don't think Alex has touched the game since he hasn't been playing, so that's going to be an interesting one. And I don't know anything about Afro or whatever, but if Alex does play, I mean, he hasn't played EU Challengers. He hasn't played anything, at least publicly, unless he's playing league play or shooting bots. But still, like, you don't scrim or play anything competitively versus actual competitive players in months. You are going to come back and get harpooned, and I'm fucking. If he does come back and plays well, I'll be lost for words.
I'm honestly disappointed to even hear that something like this is happening. One, if Zap, I think, brought a lot to that team. Having him and Paul as a duo helped them a lot in Hardpoint, especially, and in S&D too. And to see that happen to my boy Zap would suck. But I think the Ravens have gone through a roster change and a different roster in general every single stage, dude. Literally. And I just don't understand where the management is going with this, if this is true, because they've started to show a lot of improvements, and they've started to show that they can be competitive, and they're getting close to that 8th spot, I think, or they're getting kind of close to it, and they've shown that they're more than capable of doing it. So I don't know. Not a good idea, in my opinion.
I personally just don't. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I feel like whenever a team's good, people just want to fuck it up. We see what Dallas, yeah, sure, we're nasty. We're top 3. Let's get rid of one of our superstar players. London, finally, we start seeing some signs of life with this fucking squad. But you know what? Let's fuck it up. Let's get rid of this fucking. These contracts are so instead of re-signing them, we're gonna fucking just go with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? It just makes no sense. I don't understand. Then you got Hydra saying, "Stop being a pussy." Dash Clayster. Not really sure what this was about. But I will be hanging out with Clay later tonight, so I'll definitely get to the bottom of this and see what the fuck's going on here. But at the end of the day, for London, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. At the end of the day, I agree with Zinni. I haven't seen Alex play in literally forever, so I don't know what he's capable of doing at this point in time. Alex was also another player who was inconsistent. I feel like he had a lot of ups and downs.
Alex was, to be fair to Alex, I mean, not being able to see your family for that extended period of time, and obviously COVID, it can take a toll on you. But still, I just think it's disrespectful to players who haven't stopped playing to basically bring in a player who hasn't played competitively in months, which may not be the case, but I mean, publicly, this guy has not played at all. And obviously, he has the talent, and he's been a good player in the past, but, like, I don't know. That just rubs me the wrong way if a player who hasn't played in months in a competitive setting can just walk back onto a roster and be in the pro league.
Well, dude, the weird thing about, like, I understand the format of how the CDL works. Like, you have to obviously be top 8 to make champs. So you really can't just, like, take all season to get good. Although, like, London started showing signs of life. I just feel like it's so weird that you see, like, so many teams, like, not fix their problems at the same time. Or, like, ride the momentum that they have going on and, like, trying to get better, like, as a team. I feel like every single time, like what Tommy, you said, like, something goes a little bit wrong with a team that's, like, showing some life. It's just, like, chalk it. Like, I feel like it's, like, you always reset your progress as a team when you do that. I don't know. Of course, like, you have to be good and you have to be competing and you have to be top 8. I get it. But there's also, like, the other side of things where every single time you make a roster change, you kind of reset yourself and figure out, all right, we got to work on the small talk with this guy now. What's the plan? Like, and the more reps you get with a teammate, the more, when you're in those high pressure situations, you don't even have to speak sometimes. You just know what they're going to do.
Yep.
Like, Simp and aBeZy, like, you know, they've been together for so long. Like, Simp knows how aBeZy plays. So when he's going to challenge, sometimes Tyler doesn't even have to say it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like that doesn't happen every time if you just keep making these roster changes over and over and over and over and over again. So it's, like, so weird.
If I were management and I was hellbent on having a European roster, a majority European roster, if not all European roster, I think they just need to, you know, cut their losses in terms of what they had to deal with this season with getting players over, and continue to ride the momentum that they've built with their current roster, and see if they can make champs. Because at this point, you make changes. I mean, who's to say that this isn't going to be the greatest change of all time, right? But at the same time, we don't know that. And the only thing we do know is that their current roster has the potential to be good. And they've started to make up points, and they're getting close to that A spot. And with 2 stages left, why not just finish the year out with the current team? Makes no sense.
Yeah, makes no sense. But at the end of the day, they're gonna do what they want to do. But to end the show, let's just take a look at the standings after the major. Ben, are these updated by any chance?
Yeah, these are updated.
All right, so we got some updated standings. We got Atlanta FaZe all the way at the top in first. Those guys are cruising.
By 100 points.
Yeah, they're up there by 100 points. So you know they're cruising. They're good. I'm looking mainly. Surge. Not so much. All the way at the bottom, sitting at 12th place with only 50 points. I'm looking at that 8th spot. It's probably gonna be a fight for that 8th spot. You know, I think even Minnesota at the 7th spot is pretty close. It's gonna be a battle for those 8 and 7 spots. So we'll see how it all falls apart, but. I think looking at these next few weeks, you're going to want to see Florida pick up the pace. We see some rumors with Accuracy being benched on Minnesota, so maybe they're going to make a change. So you're going to want to see them maybe get a little bit more consistency, maybe execute some more of these matches. Los Angeles Guerrillas has been performing a little bit better now that they brought Chino on board. So let's see if they can make any noise. With Paris and Seattle, the way they've been playing, I don't know how those guys are going to get to that top 8 spot. I personally don't see it at the moment. But maybe they'll show some signs of life. And then London, we're seeing them talk about changes now when I felt like they've been showing, you know, potential. I felt like they've been looking good. So I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. This looks a lot, the battle for the 8th spot, I think is going to be what's really exciting to watch. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I think everybody's trying to get into that top 8 so they can get the champs and play at that biggest tournament. But anything that catches your guys' eye before we end the show?
I mean, Florida has a nice little cushion. Like 30 points is obviously not crazy, but at the same time, it's like if they don't go 0-5 in a stage, they win a few matches and they're not in losers, and they don't get first rounded, like they're kind of in cruise control, or like Guerrillas is battling uphill, whereas Mutineer just have to maintain. So, to be honest, I'd be shocked to see this change. Like, if I had to put my life on it, I'd say the top 8 remain the top 8. Obviously, those top few spots can change with bar FaZe, but I struggled to see those bottom 4 teams breaking in.
All it takes is one major run.
Yeah, I was about to say all it takes is for LAG or London to play really well in group stages and get a top 6 or a top 4, and they're going to get a lot of points. So I agree with these. Like if I were a betting man, I think this top 8 probably sticks it. And LAG,
we're also
London.
assuming that Florida stays the same. Like I would not be shocked to see this team make a change and upgrade.
Good point.
one of their SMGs and move forward that way. Obviously, there's been nothing really discussed yet, but I find it hard to believe that team sticks it out.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think we might see some emergency flanks coming on within the next couple of weeks. We'll usually take some questions, but with it being a Sunday night, I think we're just going to call it there. But I did let you guys know in the beginning of the show, for those of you who weren't here in the beginning, we do have a flank this week with Rambo to kind of just give us what's going on over at Dallas. And just give us a little bit more insider information on kind of why they got rid of Hook and why that change kind of went down. So I'm really excited for that episode. I don't know if anybody else wants to join. I think Rambo wanted to keep it just us three, just me, Ben, and him. But definitely want to reach out to Hook.
That's fucking lame.
I'll be in the chat watching, bro.
Yeah. He said he wanted to keep it just us three. So we'll see.
Who the fuck is he? The Pope? I'm in that fucking call.
Listen, Jen, if you want to join the call, join the fucking call. Maybe we could speak to the fucking guy. I don't know. But I'm really excited for that, right? I think the only right way to end a major on the flank is for Ben J Naseem to sink a putt. Ben J,
I didn't get my putter. It's in my bag. Just give me a second.
Oh, wait, is this a new putter?
No, it's my old putter, but it's in my golf bag.
All right, go get your fucking thing. Hurry up. Hurry the fuck up. Pick up your pants and put some socks on.
Nah, let him relax.
He's got the fucking feet barking those in. You know what I'm saying? They're fucking barking.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some big CDL news regarding Anthony Method Zinni. Word on the street is that nothing has changed.
Hold on, Zin. He's taking the fucking putt, Zin. Hold on, I can't even see. His chair's covering the putt. Ben!
He'll know if it hits, if it goes down the railing.
He missed it. He missed the putt. He misses it. And just like that, Ben J Naseem, he's choking. He's choking. He misses it again. He missed. Oh no, he made it. He made it the second time.
I hit that way too hard. I actually crushed the shit out of that first putt.
Yeah, you absolutely crushed it. You missed it.
I almost crushed that
Ben,
into the floor,
you gotta start working on your production. What's going on with the lighting? What's going on? Why is your chair bugging out?
Hold up. No. My lighting is fine. I bought a key light, hence why my lighting's good. The problem is that on this Discord call, the quality is not good. So you need to figure out how to get a better quality video for this. I have some ideas. We'll talk about it.
Sounds good, Ben. But before I end the show, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who joined us today. Shout out to Parasite. Shout out to Methods. Shout out to the head coach of Atlanta FaZe, James Crowder. Congrats on the win today, big guy. Thank you for joining us on the show. And then, as always, thank you to Ben J Naseem for joining us as well. He's always here. You guys know Ben. Make sure to go follow The Flank at twitter.com/theflank @theflank. It's a new Twitter handle. We just got the original. So shout out to Twitter for giving me that. Make sure to go check out anchor.fm/theflank to go check out all the audio sites that we're on. And I will be uploading this to YouTube. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching the video. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one. I'm sure we'll have some emergency flanks throughout the week. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I love every single one of you. Goodbye.
Sound muted.